Okay, everybody, welcome to the regular council meeting of the City of Cross Lake, Monday, May 8th at 7 p.m. And let's stand for the pledge. Well, thank you all for coming. Not sure what you're all here for, but I think I'll find out, huh? We've got some additions to the agenda. We've got some additional bills for approval. We got a thank you letter from Emily Foodshelf, a memo dated for the mayor for commission appointments, discuss revisions to the city administrator job, memo dated from TJ Graham Park Dedication, and discussion of the transfer of the side-by-side. So I need a motion to approve those additions.
I move we approve those additions. I'll second it.
Okay, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next, we have public forum. Action may or may not be taken on any issue raised. If council requires more information or time for consideration, the issue will be placed on the agenda of the next regular council meeting. Speaker must state their name and address. Does anybody have anything? Come on up.
My name is Mary Dischinger. I live at 34102 Urbans Point Road in Cross Lake. Just want to present a little logic. Several months ago, my brother asked me why I was against the roundabout in downtown Cross Lake. He said it'll help move traffic properly, safely. I agreed that's the purpose of a roundabout. However, having listened to the recommendations, it appears the purpose of this roundabout in this location is to allow for pedestrian traffic. He responded he's never seen pedestrians in a roundabout. It's been explained that the Loon Center will not be providing ample parking for the number of expected visitors. Visitors will be required to park downtown or at the school and walk to the Loon Center. Doesn't seem logical to me. If a roundabout is built, it'll take away necessary parking for the Loon Center and also for businesses in that area. If a roundabout is built there, traffic will be forced to stop for pedestrians instead of moving through the circle safely. That can't be safe for pedestrians. At previous meetings, we were told that a semaphore stoplight isn't recommended. I believe this would be the absolute safest way for pedestrians to cross the road. Wouldn't it be safer for a pedestrian to cross with a green light than to take their chances making eye contact with drivers in the circle? Even a four-way stop would be safer than a roundabout. So I respectfully request that the Cross Lake City Council not support the construction of a roundabout in downtown Cross Lake. Thank you.
Mary, thank you much. Well, after that lead off, anybody else have anything? Pat.
Pat Netto, 36084, County Road 66, Cross Lake. I'm a business owner in Cross Lake. I just want to say thank you to the county engineer and Phil and whoever else was involved in the bypass for the 3 and 11 roundabout. It's easy, it's great, it's tarred, it's not disruptive, and I thank you for that. That's huge. So with that being said, there'll be a lot of discussion tonight on the roundabout and the plan of going forward. So I am asking the City Council to be cognizant of the fact that we cannot shut that road down during construction, and for every effort to be made to keep that road open with whatever bypasses are necessary or for whatever shortened time period is necessary. And we very much appreciate the incentives that have happened for this project to be done by the end of June, which would be huge. That would be really awesome. We'd love to see something like that with this next project. So keeping the road open is a major consideration for whatever the decision is tonight. Also, I would like the council to keep in mind that we need more parking in Cross Lake for whatever reason, even if we don't have a loan center, even if we don't have 38, if we don't have 38 parking spaces on one side of the road, we do need to find more parking. And so we need to keep our eyes and ears open and figure out any kind of solution that we can to help with the parking issue. So I want that to be forefront in our minds as our decisions are being made tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Pat. Anybody else? Okay, not seeing anybody getting up, we'll close the public forum. Next is the consent calendar. All items here are listed, considered to be routine by the city council and will be acted on by one motion. There will be no separate discussion on these items unless a citizen or council member requests. Everybody have a chance to go through it?
Yep.
Any questions?
No.
A motion.
I so move it.
Consent calendar as submitted.
Second.
Motion is second. All in favor? Aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion approved. Okay, now the mayor and council members. I don't see Alden. Is he here? Oh, there you are. Okay, come on up. Welcome.
Welcome, thank you. I'd like to give you an update on how we're coming on the raising the funds for the Pine River Overlook Park. And TJ has just shown you a picture of what it looks like. And with the snow gone, it's really a pretty spot now. And so I'm going to encourage you to go down, walk on it, and look at the park and see what it's like. It's really going to be pretty.
What was that other picture there, TJ?
The fund drive is coming along well, but we need your help to finish. We have over 30 names so far that have contributed over $500 to be on the plaque welcoming the people to the park. And we have more room on the plaque. And so I'd like more of you to join us. We have raised with gifts and pledges over $16,000 towards the $29,000 necessary. So we have about 60% of the money raised. We need your help to finish the drive so we can have the complete installation this summer. Walk down there, look at the park, walk past the gate, and see what a nice place it is. This will be a new green spot in the city and really an attractive, quiet spot to be. You get there, you go south of town, past the dental office, turn to the left, go as far as you can on that road, and then turn to your right, and you'll come to a gate on the municipal property. Walk around that gate and walk and look at this area. You will be impressed. I am every time I go there. I could just see what a nice addition this is going to be. It's a quiet spot. We don't anticipate big crowds, but we anticipate a nice place with benches, tables, and of course the dock. The dock is set right about, you see in the middle of the cleared spot there. It's about 2 to 3 feet deep. It's a dock for launching kayaks is one thing, and it has a kayak assist that holds the kayak stable. Some of us old guys would like to enjoy a kayak, but if you try getting in when you get a little older, it doesn't go as easy as you think.
That's what the benches are for, right?
That's right.
Come on by a couple more times. I'll sit down there with you.
It will be very nice. And they can launch canoes, tubes, other things down the river, or just sit and enjoy a quiet spot in the time of the day. We think this will be a nice addition, and we're set to install this summer. We have the dock on order, and so I think we have the first part, but we'd like to finish the whole thing. So I thank the people that have donated so far, and I encourage more to join us. So thank you so far, and we welcome more. We look forward to having new things to talk about this summer before the council, and I think we'll all feel pleased about this new addition.
Alden, I have a question for you. Will the $29,000 include funding for signage?
Yes.
Okay.
We've got approval. TJ, tell us about the approval.
As we continue to proceed with the fundraising efforts and the actual installation of the park, we do have signs that would be placed on County Road 3, and then the end of the road, like you said, when you take the right, we got approval from the county to put those up. We just have to kind of wait until we start to make some more progress with the park.
Any other questions?
Alden, in support of you and your project, I'm going to pledge one of the $500 spots, and I'm going to challenge everybody out there to do the same. Let's make this happen. So
Thank you, Dave.
I will drop that check off tomorrow.
Very good. I
Thank
hope
you.
you're joined with more at the door. Thank you, guys. Any other
Yep,
questions?
thanks very much, Alden.
You want me to go up there?
Oh, no. Not you, Jackson. Don't you have a representative or something?
No, I'm gonna do it.
Next is an application for a fireworks display on Big Pine Lake.
Jackson Purfirst, 14610 Big Pine Trail, Cross Lake, Minnesota. Another application for a firework display this year on our lake. This will be the third year. If you have any questions, shoot, and I'm going to abstain from the vote.
All the rules are the same?
All the rules are the
Everything's
same. It's the same thing.
followed? They're on a boat in the lake?
Yep. All done electronically, so.
I'll make a motion to approve the fireworks application for Big Pine Lake.
I second.
Okay, any other questions, discussion on it? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries 4 in favor, I guess, 1 abstain. Next is another application for fireworks for the Chamber and Cindy.
This one is actually, the chamber facilitates it, but it's not a chamber thing. It's a community event. For the 53rd year, we're asking to shoot fireworks from Sand Island in the middle of Cross Lake. Mr. Kent Carlson owns that property and has allowed us to use that over the past several years. CNC Boatworks orchestrates the fireworks on barges, and they float them out into the lake, and they shoot them from there. I do need the Robert Street boat launch, excuse me, on Cross Lake closed all day, July 1st for that event. That's where the fireworks guys load the boat from that launch.
Are you going to put some warning signs up for that?
We do
Day ahead of
work
time
with
or
the
something.
Public Works Department
Yeah,
and
just so
TJ.
people know that it's going to
And
be
we
closed.
mark it closed. I think we put an ad in the paper to mark it closed. We've been
Week
doing it for
before or
years.
something.
Same drill, everybody knows.
Yeah.
And then the show will be simulcast on R&J Broadcasting, channel 101.5 FM, to music, choreographed to music. So I need a motion to approve that.
I'll make a motion to approve that, to approve the fireworks display.
I'll second.
Any other questions or discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All in favor. Motion carries.
I also want to thank you guys for that. You include $15,000 in your city budget to fund that show, and the show costs $20,000, so we do fundraising to raise the additional $5,000 for that show. So thank you very much. Next, number 4.
Next,
I am seeking permission to, again, host Cross Lake Days, the chili cook-off, which does need a council motion to be able to have a public food giveaway in the city of Cross Lake. That will take place the last Saturday in September, September 30th, from noon to 3 o'clock. So I do need a single motion to approve that. It's the state guidelines from the Department of Health that I have your approval to do that.
I move that we approve that request.
I'll second that.
okay, any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. All in favor.
Thank you. Cross Lake Days, as you know, is a fall weekend that we have all kinds of things going on. There's an arts and craft fair that happens at the Cross Lake Lutheran Church. There's the Ideal Lions, Cross Lake Ideal Lions, that do a flea market in the town square area. And we used to organize a craft fair at the Exchange parking lot that is now going to be relocated to the Log Church. So that will still happen. It's just going to be in a different location. There will be deals and discounts at businesses all over town and entertainment all over town for 3 days, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Saturday being the most events that take place. The Knights of Columbus will be doing their 4th annual cornhole tournament and Ace Hardware will be having a street dance that evening. Actually, it's not evening, it's like from 3 o'clock till 7 o'clock PM. So we will need to close part of Pioneer Drive, and that's the road that goes between Reed's parking lot and Ace Hardware. And I asked to have that road from 9 AM till 9 PM, because the cornhole tournament takes place in that road during the day, and then it transitions to the street dance for the evening. So if that's cool with you, we'll make those plans.
And that's all part of the previous motion, right?
The chili cook-off stands on its own. That is a Minnesota Department of Health guideline that I need a motion for a chili cook-off. That's the motion you made.
So let's make another motion to approve that. Are you looking for that?
Closing of Pioneer Drive.
Yeah.
If you want to make a motion, that'd be great.
I'll make that motion to close Pioneer Drive.
I'll second.
Okay, any other questions on it? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed?
Thank you.
Cindy. Thank you much. All right, Jackson, are you going to go back up there again?
No, I'll just stay here this time.
All right, go ahead.
So I was talking with some of our members down at our American Legion, and this month, as some people know, is Poppy Month. So I thought it'd be cool if we did something for the Legion. So here's a little thing I should read. The American Legion Auxiliary, the Veterans of Foreign Affairs, and the Veterans of Foreign Wars Auxiliary have adopted the poppy as their commemorative symbol. The American poppy, assembled by disabled veterans, pays respectful tribute to those killed in war and also benefits living veterans and their families. Public donations for Poppy fund rehabilitation programs within the community that benefit veterans and their families. And ultimately, our state and nation happened in the month of May. I would like the council to consider declaring May 26, 2023 as Poppy Days. I also encourage the citizens to donate and wear a memorial poppy as a symbol of their appreciation for the sacrifices made by our nation's veterans. So I would like a motion entertained, please, or I'd like to entertain a motion to declare May 26, 2023 as Poppy Day in Cross Lake.
I'll second that.
Okay, any other questions? All in favor? Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I mean, is there anything, in particular we're going to do to, commemorate that or announce it, put it in the paper?
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, we can put that in the paper. I'm sure it'll be in the minutes.
Great.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye? Opposed? Motion carries, all in favor. That's it?
That's it.
Okay, next we got Mr. Finn, come on up. And it's titled, "Is there city interest to be involved in a development of 27-unit apartment complex?" So I will give you the floor.
Thank you. Not sure if this is going to be long enough, but. My name is Dan Finn. I currently reside in Breezy Point, and I was talking with Dave the other day about the concept of some interest people had in putting apartments in a small town around here, and he recommended that I come to here to discuss what I was thinking of proposing. So I'm just facilitating the people with the monies and the people with the apartment design. I'm really not any other part of that other than lining those people up. Having grown up in Cross Lake, I moved up here in '74, and so I'm familiar with the city.
Can you folks all hear him all right? No, speaker.
Sorry. So I grew up here. I moved up in '74, so I'm very familiar with the area. And the location we're talking about is Bill Reed's property in town, where apparently there was a apartment complex that was going to be started there recently and fell through. My understanding is that there was a mistake somewhere on the size of the land, and they downsized from 36 units to 27 and did not see that as a viable option for their investors. I don't know how accurate that information I just gave you. That's what I was told. So this is a 27-unit apartment complex that I'm talking about. The way I got involved is many years ago, I started looking at high-energy building. So these are structurally insulated panel designs, extremely energy-efficient homes. This apartment complex is made out of those, so they're SIPs. And I'll bring up what the units would look like here.
Get into the concept. What are you asking the city for? Get right to the guts of this
Right
thing.
to the guts of it is that there are other cities across the state that have offered monies up to investors to come to their cities. You know, why Cross Lake? Why would an investor want to come here and invest $7 million in this city? And what is the city willing to do to help with that? And so if I can open this up.
Dan, can you explain what SIPs are?
Structurally insulated panels. So they have OSB on both sides and foam in between.
They bring them in panels and, okay.
Could not be joined. Should I join the city network to get it to display it?
I don't know what is it a PowerPoint or is it a?
No, it's just my emails showing.
Can you get into that? Is that what you're trying to show there?
This here.
Double click on
I'll
it.
double click on this one to
Yeah,
show.
there.
And that will come up? Okay. So this would be an example of what they would look like. So architecturally, I believe that it fits with the concept of the town square. Looks nice with the Whitefish Lodge and Suites. The maximum height on this is 44 feet. There are 3 stories, and the 3rd floor, what we were proposing is to do, to make it more economically viable, is to have extended stay on that level. So I don't know if any of you have tried to move out of your house and sell it here and try and find a place to stay in the interim or anything like that. It's near impossible to find a place to stay. And so we've thought that having that 3rd floor be extended stay would be beneficial.
So Dan, what are your thoughts and what is your ask of the city for, I mean, we're not going to go
Yep.
into a
No,
partnership with you
no,
on this.
and
thing.
I have that here for you. So, this is an example of the economic impact from the National Apartment Association of a 27-unit apartment complex impact on a city. So that's showing the construction revenue, the total impact. Let me get down here.
Hit that green button on the top left and it'll.
It'll enlarge it? Okay. So now I can get this.
So that budget is 9.5 million, your budget to date is 7 million?
Where did you get 9.5? The
construction.
construction, yeah, oh, yeah, I'm not sure where she put that in. It is 7.
Okay, so
The
this is a
construction-
generic
the construction
formula
is
that you
actually
picked up
7,
from
yeah.
somebody. Okay.
And so she put this in as apparently the National Apartment Association has like a calculator for impact. And 27-unit apartment on a nationwide level must be around 9. But I know that this one is coming in around 7. And so to cut to the chase here, let me get to So Laverne, Minnesota is the exact units that we're talking about that we would build here. They have 2 of them, and that is what the city did for the company. So the city used TIF for the land, the civil engineering, the soil and environmental reports. They covered all the underground and foundation, gutter, and landscaping. They provided a 10-year deferred loan with interest after 10 years as low as 3.5%. And that was the most equivalent to this size of town. So their population is 4,934. The rest of these examples
Can you
were.
enlarge that again? Can you hit that? Yeah. Thank you.
Oops. Yeah, there it is. It didn't help much, did it? So this was examples of what other cities have done when people are looking to shop to invest in those cities. So sewer and hookup, deferred taxes, those kinds of things. I'm not asking you to commit to anything other than, would you be interested in working with us, and that we could then look at those kinds of things?
I think the city is definitely interested in a housing unit similar to that. We've had a few of them come, they're not viable, they can't figure it. Speaking for myself, I guess, and if I'm wrong, correct me, but I don't know that the city is real interested in partnering up to do something.
I wouldn't say,
But-
I wasn't looking for a partnership.
I
I'm saying,
think what I would encourage you to do is to get a committee and a presentation or something and bring it. But I don't know what you want us to do today. I mean, I guess
I just,
ask
what
if we've got
I'm
an
simply
interest.
asking, would the city look at things like no charge for the hookup? Would they look at deferred taxes? Would they consider doing those kinds of things to have somebody come in and invest in the city at that level?
We have entertained a little bit of that in the past, but I'd be real cautious to commit to anything like that. Yeah, I can't answer that. Does anybody have an opinion on that?
Well, I just would like more information and, it's.
And I realize the steps here would be to go to your Economic Development Advisory Group.
Yeah.
And present it to them. But I thought if the city had no interest in, say, deferring taxes or free hookup for the sewer. I mean, if you look at deferring taxes, for instance, if nobody comes to build, you have no taxes anyhow. If that land is just sitting there vacant like Bill has for all the years it is, there's no money coming in. So if you're deferring taxes on it for a period of time in order to get the investor to come, it's not an out-of-pocket cost. It's simply a deferral.
Yeah, no, I get it.
And that's why I'm asking for is what I think would be reasonable things that a city of small towns can do, because small towns have very limited budgets. And it is difficult for these companies to come into small towns, because when you get them to start looking at debt to equity ratios, they look at metropolitan areas and they say, well, this is what we use for a comparison. Well, when you come into small towns, we can't use those same comparisons. It doesn't work.
All right.
And so that's why when that project fell from 36 down to 27, they found it to be not viable.
But how do you find it profitable? I mean, what is your client base?
When you say, what is my client base? I'm not
Correct.
sure how you mean.
What
Who
are
are
your
you
rents?
renting to?
Yeah, or what are your projected rents? Is
The
that what
projected
you're asking?
rents.
Are they protected rents? Are they
Yep,
Section 8?
yeah, I have
What
all,
are
no,
they?
no, this is not workhouse housing. This is workforce housing. This is based on rents for a single apartment from $995 to $1,500 for a 2-bedroom, 2-bath.
Can you repeat that? That went by pretty
So
fast.
it'd be $995, and I have screens showing it, but it's $995 for a 1-bedroom apartment and $1,500 for the 2-bedroom, 2-bath in the current proposal. And I believe that most of these companies do a 4% increase per year in the rates for the projections for the pro forma.
I mean, Dan, it's real interesting to me, but I think you got to bring it through maybe the EDA. It'd be a good thing.
Sure.
We're going to need them to kind of come
Yep.
and,
And again, the reason I brought this was because you suggested I do this to get the answer to the question, so,
I kind of set you up, didn't I?
yeah. So,
All right.
again,
We will
I
be
did-
better prepared next time.
I mean, I don't want to say, blanket no. I think it's worth,
Yeah, I mean, I didn't come here to want to take up a bunch of your time because it's a busy schedule.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of presentation I have. It's already there for the EDA, where we can go through and show them everything, and then to see, are there feasible things that the city can do that make it so that an investor wants to invest in Cross Lake as opposed to Pequot?
There
or
should
Schwab.
really be a committee formed or something to look in that, because we get that asked of us quite often, and it never goes anywhere.
Sure.
It would be nice to have an answer.
All right.
Keep in mind, Dan, we've had some people speak, and they're looking for us to look at parking areas and so forth. So some of that stuff has to come ahead because we're moving forward with construction. So we have to look at that stuff before we can look at funding something in this, like what you're presenting.
Yep, and again, I don't know that it's necessarily asking for funding. It's asking for, free hookup.
Well,
Deferred.
free hookup is a lot, because then our Public Works Department has to budget extra for it, so now we raise the levy,
Yep,
okay? So it's, and then when you look at the park, recreation, same thing there.
Right.
And they have to figure out and go and do more fundraising. And I think we need to take care of the things that we have to do first. And
Well, I know
I agree with that.
I based this on, that in 2000, they did that workforce study, 2020, and Cross Lake has their own sheets on that. And it's saying what you're missing is what I'm proposing.
Yeah.
And so it's, if you want it, you have to do something to get it. So
Talk to Patty. Is Patty in here? I thought I saw her today. Yeah. Get a hold of him.
we did speak,
Yeah.
yeah, we spoke briefly, so, all right, thank you.
Okay, Dan, thanks a lot. I didn't mean to set you up. Wasn't sure what you were going to bring. Okay, what's next? Aaron, Jackson, you guys are up. Well, you got a busy night here. Who wants to take it?
Well, I'll preface what we did this morning, okay? And this morning at the Public Safety Commission, we had a long discussion on it. And some of we looked at a couple of job descriptions that would potentially fit and looked at how the position could be used in conjunction with short-term rental,
Yep.
STRs, and so forth. And the Safety Commission did come through and say that they really want us to look at it and approve to move it forward to council. So with that, I'll let you have it.
I was under the same assumption, and I've received several calls from people in our community saying when they come to our police station that well, hey, we've built this nice building, why isn't there anybody at the window? They have to call or make an appointment, or as they're going back to their car, Eric or somebody will see them on the camera and run out. But my rationale and my thought was, if we start thinking about it as we're coming down the pike for the short-term rental and adopting our own ordinance and having somebody enforce it, I think the work that, to manage the VRBOs and the work that we could do with the fire department and filing police reports or whatever could justify a full-time employee and killing two birds with one stone. So I'd like the council just to put that on their radar and think about it as we move forward, please.
You got your hand up? Oh,
I just have a quick statement, I'll let you finish.
okay. A job description would be the first question. What is going to be described? What are the duties, you know? I think that we're coming to a time when we're going to need some, I agree,
Right,
some support, but I would certainly like to spend a little time on a job description.
totally. I understand that. I think Eric our chief has some insight onto that.
Good evening. I'm a little off on this because it was kind of brought to me last week, and as much as I've wanted it, and I think we've showed a need for it. I think back when Patty was mayor, we had discussed this regarding having a administrative assistant in the police department. Right now, Sergeant Meyer and myself spend I'm probably 70 to 80%. Sergeant Meyer is probably 40 to 50% in the office doing administrative paperwork and just kind of stuff that lags us down from going out and being in the public. One of my greatest failures, I think, in the last 6 years as police chief has been lack of involvement within the community, not getting on boards and within the county-wide, Towards Zero Death Safety Coalition, sexual assault advocates, boards, that type of thing, where other chiefs are involved and have time. That has not been one of my things that I wanted to do. This would free up Sergeant Meyer when he becomes police chief and allow him to be able to do that along with whoever he picks as sergeant. And going forward, we can hopefully put the STRs in that scope of that job description. And right now what we have, I've got a couple, Pequot Lakes and Breezy Point both have full-time administrative staff. So I wanted to put that in the packet, but we didn't have the public safety meeting until today. So if I got it to you, it would have been in the additions to the agenda, so it really wouldn't have helped you much. So that's kind of the thinking right now and what we would like to do. and what we would like to see going forward.
So Eric, I mean, myself, my thoughts are I'd like to see a job description. I'd like to see if it overflows to other departments, how we could utilize this person to justify it, you know?
Well, all right, so like I said, Breezy and Pequot both have full-time, and they're in the police departments, full-time. They're not, I mean, if other departments need help, they are available to go help, but it's not any kind of defined job description for them. So I don't know that you're gonna be able to get this person out of the police department that often to go to fire, to go to planning and zoning, or go to admin for help in any scheduled timeline.
But they could certainly help with the STR, you know,
I think we would be able to work that in somehow, some way.
because a lot of that comes down to the police department anyway, when you get
Right.
calls and whatever.
Yep. It seems to make sense that that would go in that area.
So if we gave you the nod to go ahead and advertise for somebody like that, what would you put on the job description? Who are you looking for?
Well, I can tell you one of the, I think the Breezy Point had the most updated as far as minimum qualifications. They have 1 year of post-secondary, 2 years clerical support, transcription, public contact, combination, training. I mean, this is a skilled, ends up becoming a skilled position with quite a few jobs that they have to do as far as entering information with the state, with the BCA, with the National Criminal, was it NCIC, what is it? I'm
NCIS.
drawing a blank right now. Not NCIS, no. Not Hollywood.
Jake, in our conversation,
But, I'm sorry?
didn't you, in our conversations, didn't you mention that you knew of someone who might fit the bill? Pretty.
I'm not going to get into that
Okay.
right now, but like I said, this is a skilled job, so this is, you know, if we get someone in with the qualifications that can do this, we're looking mid to high 20s on a qualification for someone who knows how to do this. If we're training them, low to mid, depending on their qualifications, would be their
Mid to high 20s what?
per hour.
Oh, per hour,
Yeah,
okay? Per hour?
per hour.
Okay.
I would think that we can't advertise for that position right now. I think that we need to get the job description drafted.
Yep.
We need to look at the point summary for that position and what job class they'd be in, what union they'd be in. I think it's pretty premature to say advertise for that position. I think we need to nail it down before we do that.
I don't disagree with you.
Yeah.
Agreed.
So should we make a motion to?
I think you also need to figure out which union its person is going to fit in correctly.
Do-
And
Right.
the union would have to provide some information, I would think.
I would think, yeah.
Yeah.
If it is, I don't know if it's,
Do we have to go union?
yeah, I'm not sure.
Can we stay away from unions? Because that,
All the other clerical and stuff are all union. I would find it hard to believe we would get away without it.
okay.
Well, I move that Jake draw up some kind of a job description and do some research on if and what union would be required and bring it back to us.
You
I
want
like
Jake to
that.
do it
Say
under
Jake or
Eric's
Eric?
supervision?
No, I like Jake.
Yeah, no, I think
just
that's a
fine.
good idea.
But I think keeping it moving, I think, is an acceptable process
Right.
to go in
Come on,
right
Jake,
now.
might as well start now.
You got more research.
I think if you're good with it, Mike and myself and Jake will
I'll second.
put something together and we'll get a job description and see where we go from there and get
But
it back
that's
to you.
not authorizing to advertise.
No.
It's just coming
Nope.
back with
Just
the.
putting together a job description.
I'll second that.
Second, any other question, discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed?
Thank you.
Good luck.
You have a question back there?
Yeah, come on up, you gotta say your name and. What your mother's maiden name was?
Warren Stock. Okay, anyway, 10 days ago, I had a stroke, and because of the fast response of the Cross Lake Police Department and the first responder, I'm standing here today. I want to say thank you to them and to our first responders.
Thank you much.
Have a great day.
Good job. Good testimonial there. All right. Next one, discuss hiring a labor attorney. So we did interviews. Who wants anything? Does anybody have anything to say about it?
I thought the interview process went really well. Both firms represented themselves well. I personally have a preference. I don't know if other people up on the council do as well, if we should just,
Why don't we go through comments first, Sandy, and then come back and make a motion? Anybody else have any?
I think if we leave the one that we're currently with, we're going to increase labor union costs. And I think that we will have to address that at budget time, because that will increase.
By hiring another one?
Yeah, because they're going to charge us travel time and all that end of it, which I don't believe.
Doesn't
we're
ours
paying
from
today.
Duluth charge travel time now?
No, that's why I'm saying we will have
And I
cost
think they do,
increase.
Aaron,
Yeah, they do.
unless they're on Zoom. But I think they do. I
Yeah.
think they all charge.
I didn't think they were.
I think they,
I-
She
wouldn't
charges
they?
when she's here. Or him, whatever,
Him.
whichever.
She's way behind the times if
Even
she's not
travel on
charging
the
for
bills.
travel.
But coming from farther.
Okay.
So costs will go up.
Anybody else have anything to say?
I thought one stuck out more than the other.
Okay, somebody make a motion.
I move that we offer Susan Hanson the position as our new representative.
From Madden, Gallanter, and Hanson. Okay,
I'll second that.
and a second. Any discussion on that? All in favor?
Do we have an effective date, or?
Starting now?
Well, let's do this, and then we'll do that. I think there's a second part to this that I would like to do,
Okay.
because, so no other discussion on it? All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Aye.
Motion carries 4-1. The second part of the discussion is now we are still currently in some discussion with labor negotiations, and I would like Susan to at least be there, if not carry the wand and take it over. Now, it's kind of short notice for that, so.
She may or may not be available, but we can.
Don't we have to give our other labor attorney 60 days, or what is it? Don't you, I think we should personally carry him through, because he's been he's been here the majority of the time while you guys have worked through it. I am not opposed to having both on retainer as we move in with her, but I think he should at least be here
Yeah,
as well.
I agree, you know.
Okay,
Maybe they
It would be
won't.
helpful
but-
to have her there at least to observe what's
okay.
happening.
So we should make a motion out of that. I believe.
As an observer, not as a participant. There's a big difference. Okay.
I mean, I'm sure we're still going to have to pay her as an observer,
Oh, yeah.
but pay her for her time, but yes.
Yeah, we don't want her.
I don't care if she comments.
Yeah, I don't either. So how do we form a motion for that?
I move that we invite Susan Hanson to attend our mediation so that she can, be brought up to speed what's happening.
Are we going to have to, are we going to have to hire her first, though? I think we'd have to hire her first before she comes here and observes. Or at least that's the way, if I was an attorney.
We already passed the fact that we're going to offer her the job.
So let's hire her immediately.
Yeah, let's hire her effective now.
Hopefully the other one will continue on to finish what we
Right.
got started here and have her be.
So do you want to amend your motion, or do you want to,
Do I need to amend it?
yeah?
For what?
That we're hiring her.
Oh, well, we already
Just did.
voted for that.
Okay, never mind. Sorry, I got thinking of different process.
But like Shar said, when do you want to do it? Effective immediately.
Yes.
So her hire with the second motion would be immediate,
There you go.
and ask her to be present during our current negotiations we have going on.
That's what I was simply stating.
As an observer.
It doesn't matter. I'll second that. Did you do it?
Okay, any other discussion on that? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All in favor? Okay. Good. Okay, now next, I don't know, Aaron, if this was yours, schedule workshop for council discussions?
Yeah, that's me.
Okay, what do you got?
We have a number of issues that are going on, and I think each one of us needs to select a topic, and we need to come together and we need to discuss out as many of them as we can. We've got stuff hanging out here that we need to do. And I see one of them coming up here that maybe that's where that should be, is on a workshop. Number 9.
Oh.
No. What is it? 12.
Okay.
But I'm saying that we have the fire chief issue that should be discussed. We have, I think each one of us could come up with one topic that we could bring in and then have just the appropriate department head come in and work with us through that topic.
So when we do a workshop, that is still open to the public?
Absolutely.
And
but
it's
we
got to
can't-
be,
But we can close it off for
advertised.
public input, I believe.
yeah.
It's always up to the mayor and the council whether to take input from the public or not.
That's,
Take input or not, but they're welcome to come.
oh, yeah,
Yeah.
we have to open it to them, yeah.
Yeah, good.
And I wouldn't want to hide it from anybody. That's,
Okay, so now we got to schedule this. Do you have some dates or something in mind, or?
no, I have no dates in mind because I'm typically the one that's pretty open.
What does Wednesday, May 24th look like?
Wednesday, May 24th. Yeah, that sounds good. to
Wednesday,
me.
May 24th? So we are clear and concise and transparent. Should we do it in the evening? I think we should do it after 5.
Whenever you guys want, that's fine with me.
No.
Yeah, I don't care.
Whatever works.
How about you guys? Do you all have to be here, or one of you, or who's got to be here from staff? Do you have to
I'm guessing I
record
should
it?
take minutes, yeah. Yes.
And you have to record it
Yes.
also?
Yeah, oh, yeah.
PJ, does it matter to you?
Kind of, but I'll make it work.
Well, what do you,
right.
what,
Thank you.
if you have something?
That could be a long meeting though, if we get into something.
Well, and we may not get through all the topics.
Can we start earlier
Whenever.
than 7, like,
Oh, of course.
5 PM.
5 o'clock's fine.
May 24th, 5 PM.
I'll make, or is that a motion, Dave?
No, you make it.
Okay, I'll make a motion that we have the workshop on May 24th at 5 PM.
And then we will work through as much as we can. And if it gets to be
Perfect.
too much,
Before I get that actually posted, I would like the first topic so it can be on the notice for the meeting.
okay, can,
But fire,
in the next 2-3 days, can all of us send one topic to Shar?
perfect.
And then,
I would take Pat Netco's lead and talk about future parking in preparation. for it.
Email
I
those,
don't care, that's
email
fine.
your topic to me
All right.
in the next couple days.
but what I'm saying is once we start a topic, let's work it through. I think a couple of these can be pretty quickly.
got it, Aaron.
Okay, let's do it.
Okay, we're good with that?
Did I get a second?
Oh, I'll second it. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Can I,
Sure.
Go ahead.
how are we going to work the contract for the labor attorney? Because she talked about a contract, getting that written up and signed and stuff. So I think the immediate thing might be a little questionable.
We'll just give her a call, tell her she's got it, and tell her to give us a contract.
That's your job.
We'll review it. Dodo, why does everything have to be so difficult?
Well, it's just,
Dodo?
I think it'd be nice to see the contract first.
Well,
Didn't
We
didn't we
saw the
approve the
proposal.
RFP?
we
Didn't
saw the
Right.
proposal, what she submitted, yeah.
Dave, keep in mind, Brad has to review it.
That's fine.
Brad can review it based on the proposal. She's not going to change it from the proposal, so.
we'll see how that wheel turns.
We should maybe direct someone to contact her?
Brad, why don't you direct contact her, can you?
Sure, somebody give me the contact for it, and I can handle that.
I can send it to you.
Okay.
Okay.
And you're going to request that she attend our?
I got a vibe, I think, of what you're looking for.
Okay, thank you.
You got any questions, ask me, Brad. Give me a call. Okay, done?
Done.
Thank you letter from the Emily Food Shelf. We gave the Emily Food Shelf $250 a month or so ago, and they appreciate it. And I'm not going to read this letter unless you want to.
No, we're good. Thank you, thank you.
Okay. Commission appointments. We got a Planning and Zoning Commission, David Fuse. And is he going, where's Peter? Peter, is he going to be full-time or?
He's just going to be an alternative member, so this is in preparation to a couple board member vacancies that will be happening in January. So we've just been actively looking, and it seems like we found a pretty good fit for this. So he would not be voting unless he was
alternate.
Appointed. Yeah, exactly.
So David's been here 9 years. He's a pharmacist. I have not had the opportunity to meet him, but do we need a motion to approve that?
I move to approve his.
I'll make a motion that we approve,
Second.
I forgot his name.
Oh, you second. Okay, I'm sorry.
Motion and a second. It's like my first prom dance in high school. It was all thumbs and feet. Everybody in favor? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries, all in favor. Okay, now here's another one that was thrown in. Discuss revisions to the city administrator job descriptions. Marcia, I'm going to let you take that.
Okay. Our labor attorney, Jacob Stonevisor, advised the city council to, he reviewed the city administrator job description, and he advised the city council to delete on page 2, represents the city in collective bargaining matters, negotiates with representatives of employee organizations. I guess I could read what he said, but basically it is that because he's going to be in a collective bargaining unit too, that he should no longer be the representative for the city of Cross Lake to in bargaining matters and negotiations. And the other thing was to change, right above that on page 2, administers personnel matters, makes policy and pay recommendations, hires, fires, promotes, demotes, suspends, and disciplines department heads, and through them, their subordinates. And the attorney advised, administers personnel matters, makes policy and pay recommendation, consults with the city council in relation to hiring, firing, promoting, demoting, suspending, and disciplining department heads, and through them, their subordinates. Those two were the recommendations of our labor attorney for changes on the city administration job description.
I have no problem with those changes.
Okay.
I read that email and I agree with that.
What email?
I'll make a motion that we approve those changes.
I've never seen the email, so I'm going.
It was from Jacob.
I don't recall seeing it.
24th, you got it?
We all got it.
But I'm not, I think this should be moved to the agenda on.
He advised us to
Then
take care of this.
That means we bring it and we discuss it as a group. We don't get it dropped on us and an hour later, we're voting on it.
Well, I saw this
This
earlier.
was, it
No,
was
well-
April 25th. The whole council got this email. I didn't send any emails asking questions or anything else because that would have been an open meeting law violation. So we all got this, and you're on here. You did get it.
I'm not.
And these are the ones that are recommended from Jacob.
But we need to sit down as a council, and that workshop would be probably an appropriate place to discuss this and why we're doing it.
This is the advisement of our labor attorney.
fine, then put them on a telephone on
So
Zoom.
motion, Marcia, you made a motion, right?
Yes, I did.
Can you restate that motion?
Yes.
I'll make a motion that we approve the recommendations advised by Jacob Stonevisor, our labor attorney, for changes and edits to the city administrator job description.
I second that motion.
Okay, any other discussion other than Aaron's opposition to it?
I have a question on that proposal.
Okay,
Did you share with the labor attorney the finance director and treasurer duties that I currently perform?
Doesn't he have those?
I think
He's got the
aware.
job description. He had the job
Does
description.
he have both of them? Because I
hope he
perform
does.
dual
I thought city
functions.
administrator was your job description.
Well, you thought wrong.
Okay, but we want to change this job description, and if you have another job description,
Well, I think, I agree with Aaron, this would be a good topic for the workshop, because, may I finish, please? Because the finance director treasurer, my title is administrator treasurer, and the functions I perform are virtually all of the finance functions listed in the finance/treasurer position. And if you had this on the 24th, I would have thought that, I would have heard about it before May 8th.
we did not,
because
we
I
did not
should have-
change
I should
anything
have
on
some input in
finance.
Yeah, Mike, I don't see how these changes affect your,
Yeah.
your
City
position
administration
as
job.
finance, yeah.
If you have two job descriptions, we're only changing this one.
Okay,
I
thank
think
you
under
for
the
clarifying
recommendation
that.
of our labor attorney, we should do it.
But I would like to note to the council that if you were changing that, I would have liked to have had some input in that.
Okay.
Isn't that why we're going into mediation on Thursday? To designate, I don't even think we have a person now to tell Mike what is going on. Isn't that the responsibility of our labor attorney? Because we
Yes.
were told we couldn't talk back and forth about the issue from our labor attorney.
Yep.
So under the recommendation of our labor attorney, we got a motion, we got a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Opposed.
Motion carries 4-1. Okay, Mike, it's your turn. City administrator report.
I'm going to turn the comment section of this over to Tim Bray, and he'll help explain what we're doing here. What we're basically asking the council to do is to support a resolution to identify a preferred alternative for the Cross Lake pedestrian intersection improvement project. And while the county will be deciding what to do, which option to take, we're asking the council to provide a resolution of support for the recommended option. We did meet with the Cross Lakers group this morning to talk about a lot of this, and there was a lot of good discussion that we've all heard before. But at this point, we're getting down to the point where we need to make some decisions. And we'd like to give the county the best information they have and let them know that we either support the engineer's recommendation or we do not.
Okay,
And the
come on up,
resolution does
Tim.
that.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. Mike teed it up pretty good. We've been working together for a long time on this, even back as early as the Minnesota design team being here. And we've hired a consultant over the last year, and we've done a lot. We've done public meetings and things like that. We're at a point where we need a decision on some of the major components of the project. One is the intersection configuration, and then also what to do on the east side of CSAH 66, namely whether to utilize the 10-foot parking lane or not. There's a lot more work to do. There's a lot of been work done, but a lot more of the detailed work to do. But these two milestones, we need to make a decision because it alters the course of the project. There are three really pillars, or three, and maybe even now 4 concepts that we've been trying to work with. Vehicle safety, pedestrian safety, water quality improvements, and then also one that just emerged recently because it's not tied to any of those, roadway and infrastructure improvements that are 100% the county's responsibility. And so it can change the course. We need to be able to give Phil and Bolton and Mink the direction they need to move into final design. We can talk about this for another 9 months, but we will not get any further along, and we will inevitably not have this in the ground or any kind of improvement in the ground when more people will come to this already busy community. And so going through, the resolution was in your packet, it's a draft. As Mike stated, the county board on the 23rd will make the decision on these items. But just like you, when you're making decisions, you'd like to have all the information and know where your constituents stand. And it's an important thing that this council provide that to the county board. John Lubke is your commissioner here, and he's been to a lot of the meetings, but there'll be 4 other commissioners that'll be voting. And they were not and could not be present at some of the proceedings, but they have been kept up to speed. They need to know where you stand. And so we've drafted this resolution for your consideration that does just that. And it is an important milestone so we can continue to keep this project on track. And I know there are lots of questions. We've had 2 public meetings. We've had a continuous online presence to receive feedback. It's not a smoking gun one way or the other. And I've heard comments, everybody in town wants this, everybody in town wants this. And the reality is it's a split. And that's why we need elected officials like yourselves to wade through all that you've heard and make a decision and let the will of the people that you represent be heard and go on to the next level.
Do you want to discuss the difference in funding by the county, regarding
Yes.
the 2 different options that you presented to us? And
Yes, this morning we had a really good topic, and I did present some numbers. A cost estimate is an important part of it, and we're still working through it. As a matter of fact, right before I left the office, I was incorporating some of the changes that Phil and his group had put together. We're trying to maximize 2 grants, and there's restrictions on how to use them, so it is a little complicated. At the high level, we've come up with about a $500,000 expenditure for the city and about a $2.5 million expenditure for the county. And it's between 80 and 85%. The county's responsibility is what we're talking about, the option that's in your packet, and 20% for the city. The thing to keep in mind is that $500,000 and the $2.5 million is based on some very early cost estimates. And so when you're early into it, the unknowns are vast. So we have a 20% contingency built into there. And that's pretty high. And as Phil and his group gets closer and closer to incorporating, the final design, that number will get more refined. And I expect actually the cost to go down as we do that, as the risk and the unknowns start to get answered. And so I think that's $500,000 for the city and $2.5 million for the county.
What is the overall project cost, Tim?
Overall project cost, I have right now with this, and when I say overall project cost, that includes the contingency, the 20% contingency, and the engineering cost, because we have to pay Phil and his group to get it done, and I'm assuming 20% engineering on top of that. So total project cost, $4.3 million. We have $1.5 million in grants that can be used for construction. And so after it's in the ground, and we spent all the grants, and we've contributed our share with the high level of contingency right now, $4.5 million. And it's important to note, and I don't know if Shari or anybody, TJ, can bring up the concept that we put in the packet, but that includes the intersection improvement, the pedestrian improvements along County Road 3 from the intersection to Reeds, and then all the way up to Bald Eagle Trail pedestrian improvements.
And stormwater.
and stormwater improvements.
And this would all be done next summer, correct?
We are shooting for next summer. The project goal is always to have it in the ground as soon before or as soon as we can after the new attractions brings more people to this town.
This looks like a pretty well, I mean, it is a pretty extensive project. Is that going to take over all 3 summer holidays?
That's a great question, and I must say, I hope not, and I commit to you, like I did, I committed to everybody this morning, I will do everything I can to minimize that. There are some areas that are going to be very difficult. I've said this before, I was paying attention last summer. I do not want to be in that crosshair. I don't want to be in that crosshair, and I won't be. So we're going to do everything we can within reason to minimize that. Pat is very concerned about that, and I am very concerned about that.
I was just going to ask, what's your goal to try to keep that intersection open? I mean, obviously, you're going to have to close it for a little while. I understand that. But is the detour going to be through Ace and down right in front of the school?
I'm sorry. We don't know yet. I would just say that we're going to look at all of those things. So we worked hard. I was, again, paying attention, and so some of the strategies that we're using south of here, the bypass road that minimizes the disruption,
Yeah.
an incentive on the contract, so the contractor's trying to get it done early and then actively trying to get the money, those kind of things I'd be looking for here too. And I don't know what they are yet. It depends on the project. This is another, we need to have some of these milestones because some of the options, the timeline is different. And we can really start to piece that together. Construction staging is what we call that, like what's built first, what are the deadlines for certain parts. And it can be as much of an art as it is a science to do that.
So what you're asking us for, Tim, is to tell you what we would like to see you move forward to the county board. It's
That's
up to
right.
the county board to make the decision.
Right.
Can we break this in 2?
Not yet.
So is this option we have is replacing the storm sewer that we have in the packet? It's replacing storm sewer?
Yes, so want to meet that water quality component of it, we're going to, with basically a blank canvas right now, we'll be able to replumb the area and be able to direct water to treatment areas before it gets to the river. We might even be able to divert it to some different areas.
But the other option does not replace the storm sewer, and the storm sewer is 50 years old.
That's correct.
So it's met its life, probably past its life. I think we would be poor decision makers if we didn't replace the storm sewer.
Agreed.
Right, so this is the same thing that really happened on the north side. So if you recall, the county came in a little bit later and said, hey, now that the pavement's off there, we noticed that the curb and gutter is shot. It's 50 years old. We're anticipating that. The storm in 1978 is when the current curb and gutter and the storm sewer was put in. So about 50 years. And if we're going to do all these improvements on top of a 50-year-old infrastructure, I would challenge, I wouldn't recommend that.
Yeah, I'm
So
thinking it's just, it's a no-brainer that you would replace the storm sewer.
And the storm sewer is the majority of our costs. So that's that fourth component I talked about. When we're doing our cost estimates, pedestrian safety, vehicle safety, and the water quality. But then there were some things that we couldn't tie to any of those. And it was a function of the other projects are so invasive and so expensive, we need to make a smart choice and replace the storm sewer, the aging infrastructure that's there, and have a new road. It's expensive, but I think it's the right thing to do. This is a once-in-a-generation project. And again, I'm looking for a position for the city council so we can go to the county board, because they may say, we're not going to spend the money. They may not feel the same.
Yeah.
It's like, that 1 million, we can't afford that. Our priorities are different. But knowing your position will certainly help
Well,
inform
Tim,
their decision.
I'm going to, help you with this cause. And I just want to say also that in talking to you, I do believe you that you are going to work, your very hardest to minimize the impact on our businesses and on the traffic, and we're going to hold you to that. But I would like
This
to.
meeting is being recorded, I want you to know.
Well,
Yeah. Well, I would
I
like to.
consider this my hometown.
I'd like to move
And
that
so I have
we,
vested interest here too.
I'd like to move that we adopt this resolution.
I will second that.
Now, are you looking at A or B?
B, it's the only one that's here.
It's the only one here.
No, there's only one. These are
It's-
two different exhibits, but.
There's
it's-
two.
Exhibit B and Exhibit A.
Two, it's the same, I just blew up the intersection because that was one of the main topics, and I wanted you to be able to see that. And the other one was all encompassing.
Yeah.
So it's exhibits to the resolution.
Yeah.
I'm good with it.
Okay, any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
No,
Opposed?
no, aye, no, not opposed. Sorry. Aye is in opposed, correct. Aye is in opposed. I think it's still too premature. When you read through the packets of what the public truly wants, for every 9 people who don't want it, 5 people want it. I just don't think we're ready with all the pieces in the
Is that a
puzzle.
4-to-1 vote?
Yeah, I mean, it still carries, but
Yeah, okay.
yes, it is a 4-to-1 vote. You're welcome.
Okay,
Thank you.
Yes.
thank you, Tim. Liquor license.
All right, item 2, we have approval of a liquor license request. And this one is for, the city's received a request for an on-sale liquor license from Kim Walters and Thomas Demers of Wine Down Inc. We're opening a restaurant, wine bar next to Lundergan's in Town Square. They plan to serve food, boards, wine, and whiskey. And the rest of it is a little more description on that. So the request is to approve the liquor license with the contingencies as noted, meaning they pass the background check.
It's an on-sale and off-sale?
No.
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 Just
No,
on-sale?
we don't have any, excuse me, off-sale licenses available right now. They're all taken. She would like to get one eventually, so she may come in the future and ask you to increase the amount of off-sale licenses that we,
Well, and she said they would never be a liquor store. They have some specialty items that they would like to be able to sell, you know.
and you need an off-sale.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
So this right here that we're approving is on-sale only.
Do we have control of the number, or is that controlled by the state?
We do.
We do.
I'll make, are we
So,
all good?
I just wanted to.
Go ahead.
Okay. I just wanted you to be aware, this is a restaurant that is going to be serving wine and whiskey. It's not going to be your typical restaurant. They're going to be serving like a meat and cheese and cracker type of thing, just so you're aware of that. The only thing Eric and I have talked about is some seating in the front of the store. They have chairs and tables kind of on the sidewalk. And we think, I mean, we've required all the newer businesses to be compact and contiguous to the door. So we suggest that they put some type of fence, barrier or fence around that.
Do they have to go through planning and zoning for permitting on this?
Yes, they did.
They got a CUP.
Yep. And that was brought up and pointed out
Did
to
you
them.
put anything on their permit about that, Peter?
I'd have to review it again. There was
We discussed it, because I was at that meeting.
outside seating with it, and there was a condition that was put on there to not be within the public right-of-way. So anything within their platted area, they could have outdoor seating. But then we did tell them as well, there could be other regulation involved with liquor out there, where they would possibly need to contain
So Eric, what do
air.
you think? There should be a fence of some kind, or what kind of barrier do you think?
There should be some type of barrier. I think right now they're actually when I drove by, I think the table and chairs are in the rock area. So I'm assuming that they're probably at some point in time gonna change that, because who wants to sit on rocks? With the table and chairs. But, if they would put just, some, Rafferty's.
I was gonna say.
Good example. And how they did it, they just kind of have it fenced off. So you know that it's theirs, and not somebody just coming in that's gonna sit down.
So whoever,
Don't they have to put their plan on their application? If they have outdoor seating, don't they have to show that on their license application? They should.
Yeah.
They
Sure,
have that
come on up.
included on their insurance, but there's no place to put a sketch on the application.
My name is Kim Walters, and I'm the owner and CEO of Weindown. This is our third location, and I know that there is, talking about outdoor seating with the Town Square Association and getting with them on what their requirements are, along with the city and the state, as far as enclosing an area. And there is from what I believe and what I've been told and what I am doing in Walker and Nisswa, that there's just like a perimeter that is marked so that they know where they can be seated and consume any of our wine or beer.
Or whiskey.
Or whiskey here in Cross Lake. So, so that being said, you know, for instance, Nisswa is, there's a deck, there's actually, and a planter box. In Walker. The barrier that we have used is a planter boxes to beautify the front area, along with a rope that goes in between those planter boxes so that it establishes the area that we're going to have for seating for the customer.
I've been there. It's well-defined, even though there's not a, fence, but it's very obvious.
Over by Lundrigan's, right?
It is. It's right next to Lundrigan's.
So do you have a plan for the outdoor seating? Cross Lake?
The only plan on the front was where the tables are right now. The rocks were all going to be removed, and a hard surface was going to be put there. And that's very limited space, so there's going to be very limited seating. In front, probably 2 tables with 2 chairs kind of on both sides of the windows. Eventually, we are wanting to put seating in the back of the area because we have more available there, and everyone wants to sit outside when it's nice in this area. So we are going to be going into that back area, and with that in mind, having those barriers so that they know where Weindown property is.
So for the front, are you going to put barriers up?
I can if that's what the city is needing me to do, yes. It's a very limited space, so it's going to be a difficult kind of thing, but I think we can do it to beautify the front of the building, but still make sure that it is, designating our spot so that people understand that that's where they can be with our product.
Yeah, that's the concern. It's
Yep.
not the outside, it's the inside.
Ready?
Yeah, so I'd like to do that. So just have a approved site plan?
Based
Part
on
of the motion.
contingency.
Approve it with an approved site plan?
Is that going to have any, is that going to delay the process of it going to the state? Because that's my whole thing. It's like, we need to get open as soon as possible, so I don't want.
Right. Your insurance already says
It already says that there is
it's covered.
a patio
Yeah.
area. My
So-
insurance company has already designated that.
If you give something to Eric and he's good with it.
Okay, wonderful.
I'll just suggest something else, being that we do have limited area. How would the council feel? I did read in Duluth and I think St. Cloud, their ordinances said that if the patio area was in a different color, as far as, the sidewalk being white, and if they did a paver patio or something to that effect, that changed the color, that shows that it's kind of their property.
I'd be fine with it. It's the old rule, if you don't get in trouble, you don't get in trouble, Nobody
We've
causes
required
trouble back there, we
all the other
won't
newer
know.
restaurants.
Do they have to fence?
We did. We have required that.
So just draw a thing on their fence, barrier, call it whatever you want. It doesn't have to be on get Eric and maybe Pete if you want to approve it.
Or the dimensions. We don't care what the barrier is.
I will do that.
Thank
How
you.
about some benches and people could sit there?
That's a possibility, yes.
All
I'll
right,
be working until all hours of the night tonight to figure it out exactly.
It's still a go, Kim.
Go ahead.
so do you want to read that, or are you going to make a motion?
I move that we approve the request for a liquor license contingent upon the satisfactory findings of the city staff.
I'll second that.
Thank you very much for your time.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries, all in favor. Good luck to you.
Yeah. Welcome.
May I say a big thank you to the community members and business members too for showing up for me?
Good. Is that what they're all here for? So you must be having free drinks after the meeting or something.
I have not bribed them at all. But wind down, no.
All right. Renew. Yeah, we should have done that right away. We could have let them all go. All right, who's going to take this one? Renewing all existing liquor licenses.
Want me to read it? All right. I will read Resolution 23. Whereas the City of Cross Lake does hereby resolve to adopt liquor licenses and renewals of establishments licensed in 2022 of 2023 for the licensing year of 23-24. On sale, 1500 Andes, Crosswoods, Moss Airies, Moonlight Bay, Riverside, The Bourbon Room, The Cedar Chest, The Wharf, Zorbas. Sunday Intoxicating 200. 14 Lakes, Andes, Crosswoods, Moss Airies, Moonlight Bay, Riverside, The Bourbon Room, Cedar Chest, The Wharf, Zorbas. Off sale Intoxicating 100. Andes, Barstock, Moss Airies, Moonlight Bay, Moonlight Square, Riverside Inn, The Wharf. Club American Legion on Sunday 200. Club American Legion on sale. Taproom/brewer off sale, 14 Lakes Brewery Taproom 500, 14 Lakes Craft Brewery Brewer 200. On sale, non-intox $75, Rafferty's. Wine $100, Rafferty's.
Okay, we need a motion to approve.
So move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries, all in favor.
You want me to read this?
You or Mike or so, I don't even see it. No, it's Grant. You got that, Mike?
Yeah, I'll
don't you?
take that.
Yeah.
It's under my report. So I've had some questions on, where are we at with the grant reporting? What did we do with the grant funds we did receive? And where are we at with the storm reporting funds, and how did those flow through our statements? So the first one that everyone was interested in was the American Recovery Act money, or called the ARPA money, the COVID money, whatever you refer to it as. We got roughly $257,000 a couple of years ago. And that was the money that we used to offset some of the city costs for the County Road 66 storm sewer, water improvement, and sanitary sewer project. The reporting deadline for that was last month on April 30th, and we've reported all those funds as fully spent. Almost a year ago, we had a really interesting storm that blew through the city and knocked down a lot of trees and knocked down the power back in May. That one went, there was enough damage countywide that received federal disaster aid reimbursement, so we got reimbursed at 100% of what our costs were. We just finished the reporting on that in February and March and received our final payments on it, so those flowed through last month's financials. There's about just under $21,000 of costs we recovered for police and fire and Pat's crew for picking up trees and clearing roads. The next one we're trying to finalize was a little bit smaller storm, just a few weeks later in June of last year, and we're completing the reporting process on that. That one was state only, so the reimbursement is substantially less. It's part city, part state. We expect to receive about $12,000 to $14,000 on that one, and we just burned up the brush pile back in January. So we're working with the state to complete that, so you'll see that coming through in the next probably 90 days. The last one we're working on now that winter has ended and Pat's crew can get out in the ditch. Remember back in December, we had a lot of heavy snow. We were declared a disaster area. The problem was when that happened, nobody could get into the ditches to clear the trees off. So everything that came down and fell down basically got pushed in the ditch and buried by the next snowfall. This one was a bigger one, and we're not sure what the number is going to be on that when we get all the costs accumulated. I know Pat's team has been working on West Shore Drive this past week, and they're kind of going by area, cleaning up all the hanging trees and things that have been pushed off into the shoulder. The interesting thing about these is, on the reporting side of things, the funding agencies have really good access to satellite maps that we don't. So they can zoom in on the trees that we claim we picked up, and they want to see that they're not still there, because they do it before and after. So Pat's been collecting all the geocodes and pictures, and we have to basically submit everything we pick up and where it was located and who did it and when and how much it costs us to do that. That's still in process. So weather pending, that's what Pat's team is working on, okay? So that's an update on some grant reporting. Included in the grant reporting, we'll move down to item number 5. Our 2022 financial statement audit is complete. The auditors have released, and we've agreed on a preliminary draft that'll be dated May 3rd. They've given me permission to go ahead and release it, print copies of it and release a paper copy called marked draft to the council while they finish up the administrative work on their end. And then they'll bring you final reports. They're asking that they come to the council on June 12th, which is our June 12th council meeting. What they've done in the past is we've had a special meeting to go through any audit questions, any new standards that have been implemented, or any council concerns with respect to the audit. I'm happy to say that we had a clean audit. The adjustments and the fund balances and everything came out what they've already been reported to the council as, so there's no changes there. So what I'd like to do at this time is just give the council a heads up, and when you get your draft of the report, sometime this week when we can print it, get back to me with your questions so we can get questions, concerns answered. If you have anything that just doesn't make sense, we can have that discussion ahead of time so we can have a productive meeting. The second thing is I'd be requesting what's the council's preference. We can do a special meeting on June 12th before the regular council meeting, or we can do it during the council meeting depending on your level of questions that you may or may not have once you look at the draft.
Can we decide after we see the draft? Because maybe there won't be any questions.
Sure. There's a couple new standards that have been implemented. May have questions on leases.
Or we
and
could come in
software.
an hour early for the council meeting,
Yeah.
just to go over it. That'd probably be better.
Yeah.
But you'll have an
Would
opportunity
it
to
take an
have a
hour?
draft.
Yeah.
That they'll be here to go through with you and answer any questions.
Okay. And Mike, I want to thank you for providing us a clean audit. Thank you.
Thank you.
I would suggest to do it beforehand because I'm already collecting things for the next agenda. I already have stuff scheduled.
Mike, I have a request. Can you give us a listing of the grant reporting status? Can you just give us a listing of that? You were going through it pretty fast. I mean, just that we have it.
Sure.
Thank you.
Okay, that's it, Mike?
Unless you have other questions. So I'm assuming everyone's okay with the 6 o'clock special meeting to go through the audit results? Okay. And when you have questions, please get them to me as soon as you can. So if there's something that you want changed or you feel doesn't make sense, that we can address that ahead of time. That's all I have.
Okay. TJ?
Before TJ gets up there, I need to clear up the liquor license. The bourbon room is on here twice, and they are no longer, so that needs to be scratched. Well, we have, what's it called? Don't we have, what's it called on here? Didn't I say ox or no? Sorry, I was asked to read it. We'll replace it with the ox. Just for clarification.
Come on, TJ.
Good evening. First item here, 1A, F1A, update on the hockey rink warming house. At the last council meeting, you directed me to go back to the commission, go to Bolton and Mink, try to figure out some rough numbers it would cost to come up with some planning, continue with the planning process. And in that meeting, there was a motion to recommend the city to work with Bolton and Mink to develop a conceptual design along with planning level cost estimate and a rendered plan for a community rink, warming house, and a recreational rink. The rough numbers came back from 12 to 15,000. We don't have to do all of what is listed. We're going to kind of pick what we think is going to help us in the long run come up with a good plan. And like I said, their cost is not to exceed $15,000. Not to say it's going to be $15,000. That's just kind of gives us a target number. I have $5,000 in the levy for engineering fees, and then whatever, maybe we need to pull 2, 3, 4,000 more, and we can go into assigned fund balances, or you can use park dedication funding. That would be up to the council.
What level is that going to get to, Phil? 12 to 15 grand?
Conceptual plan. And like I said, it's $15,000. We're going to be able to get a quote from the engineers and essentially get something that can lay out our park, because we may have to move our softball field. We will have to move our sledding hill. We're going to have to work with the professionals how we do that, to what point we do it, and come back with professional guidance rather than the commission trying to plug some amenities in the park. And it's going to be we want it to be detailed because we want to be transparent with the public and what we're doing, and we want to be transparent with the council and what we're trying to accomplish here with the rink and the warming house. And you can set it to not exceed 10,000, and you can set it to not exceed 8 or 5. That was just the recommendation from the commission.
Yeah. Well, I'll make a motion, we set it up to 10 grand, come back with something conceptual. And is that going to come back with some budget numbers or something, or where is this going to lead to?
Right. It's going to take your ideas, put them out spatially in that space, and throw dollars to it, see what you're trying to bite out.
What's the difference between a $5,000 plan and a $10,000 plan, $15,000 plan? You know what I mean?
Didn't hear that comment.
I guess this is a stupid comment, but what's the difference between a $5,000 plan, a $10,000 plan, and a $15,000 plan?
$5,000 or $10,000.
Well, thank you. That's why I'm not on the budget.
And we can go back and get a firmed up quote. I just.
If you do that, why don't you get quotes for a $5,000 plan, $5,000 plus $5,000 plan, $5,000 plus $10,000?
Yeah,
I'd be in favor of that.
Yeah. We can get you more.
I didn't need a motion tonight. It was more for just discussion on what the commission recommended, more for just a talking point and where you guys want to approach this. I mean, we can get really, really detailed.
I just, at the
or we
end of
can-
the day, don't know where we're going to end up here. I got a feeling this is going to come back and blow us all away, and I hate to throw 20,000 bucks away to get there.
Mhm.
You know? So I'd rather
So
find
we
out
can go a
sooner
very high
than
level
later.
approach to it and just get a high level sky
I
view.
mean, if we
of what
want to be
we're-
real transparent to the public and all that stuff, that's great, but we need to get some kind of budget numbers and see what we get thrown at us.
Okay, I'll work with Phil on that.
Rocks or rotten tomatoes, you know?
When are we talking about constructing it?
Well, it's not in our budget this year,
No.
certainly. We want to get something going. We plan to have an open house here in the spring, early summer, the Park Commission at the community center to talk about our updated comprehensive plan along with this to get community feedback, talk about what we're trying to do, and that's kind of like the sky level approach. What I'm trying to tell you what we want to accomplish is, hey, guys, this is what we're trying to do. This is kind of rough numbers. This is kind of the layout, and this is how it would look depending on, or based on what we have found with the engineers.
So will we have those numbers for the budget when it starts
Certainly, that would be a part of this plan.
August and September?
That would be the hope.
You'll be ready for that? Okay.
Okay. Item F1B, recommendation to hire a youth tennis instructor. I'm happy to tell you that we found someone. Last year, we were unable to find a instructor, and we did not have a program. We found candidate Lauren Holter. He has a very extensive history in the tennis sport. He was a high school coach for many, many years, and it would be a valuable asset to add to our program to teach the young kiddos in Cross Lake about the sport of tennis. We're looking at hiring him for $20 per hour upon a cleared background check. So we've kind of already set up parameters for our program based on previous years. We're just ready to get this approved, and we can move forward with getting
I'm assuming
the
you're
kids
going to
playing tennis.
be, he's going to be charging, I mean, the
We charge.
Park and Rec will be charging
correct.
for lessons, so we will
Correct.
be getting some,
We will be able to cover the cost of the instructor.
oh, okay.
Make it.
Yeah, I move that we hire the instructor based on a positive background check.
I'll second that.
Any other question, discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All in favor.
Fantastic.
Mike, can you switch the screen for me? My third item here. We talked about this last meeting, and what I did is I put together what I currently provide my staff with is strictly for my supervisor position is to track my guys' hours, how long it takes to do certain duties. This helps with budgets, this helps with assigning tasks.
You didn't give us anything on that, did you?
No, it's
Okay.
strictly up on the screen. To help me plan the days, plan the weeks, and if this is something that we want to move forward with, we can continue to do it, we can implement it in the Public Works Department. If this is not something we were talking about, if we want to go a different route, we can certainly do so. This is just kind of what I currently do with my guys.
Perfect.
Yeah, it's a good start.
So you're asking if the Public Works wants to assume the same format, or they're going to have different categories, obviously?
Ours will be pretty close to being the same.
That's theirs, yep.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
I would like to do it, we had a little discussion on that. I don't mean to, or at least I don't mean to micromanage and get into stuff, but next year you're going to come back and say, we need more grass cutters, or we need more of this or that. With this, we could go back and say how much, I mean,
Right,
it's
you
just,
can look
it's
at
just
it and
a
see what it takes
management.
for hours.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, they shouldn't take it offensively, it should just be a reporting, that's what we do.
Yep.
And we need help here, we don't, or, I mean, so use it that way. It's not a punishment or a penalty, it's just let's see where we're working. So I would make a motion that we do that.
I'll second it.
Any questions, clarification, anything? All in favor? Aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Carries.
That's all I got, unless you have any more questions for me.
Thank you, TJ.
Thanks.
Get up there in front.
Get up
You can't sit back over there.
This instructor, for the people who are eligible for lessons, what's the age limit?
We like to see you up here, Patrick.
I'll take the first one on Public Works.
Okay.
I put an ad in the paper this week that the cemetery is going to be cleaned the week of the 15th. We do this annually.
Yeah, thank you, Shar.
Yeah, so I just wanted you to be aware in case you get any phone calls, and
Okay.
the public will be aware because they're listening to this.
And do you guys clean it? You all get together and clean it?
No.
Who cleans it? Who cleans it?
This year, no.
Well, we'll help out if they need help with it. We'll be out
Yeah.
there helping.
But I mean, it goes without saying that we're respectful when we go.
Very.
Yes.
Sometimes the guys get a little
Well-
overboard, so we kind of don't let them do that anymore.
Right.
There you go. But we've been out there and mowed and picked up the leaves and stuff already. We did that last Friday
Yeah.
to
Just-
make things start looking a little nicer out
We'd
there.
hate to get a call about disrespect out there at the cemetery, so.
Nope.
Okay.
And then we got the deal from Phil about the cemetery plating. On the yeah, we didn't have to have a motion on that if you guys want to move ahead to get.
Didn't we do this once already?
That was at Public Works.
Oh, God. Too many meetings. So we got an estimate of 11,600 to plat it, and then another $5,000 or something to put the roads on the plat? See, this, I just get frustrated with this, because
Yeah, I feel like we did this already.
we got a road going across the grass, do we have to spend $5,000 on that? Phil, I don't want to pick on you, but is that what it takes to do it?
To lay out the roads where they're going to be.
He'll plot it out exactly where the road's gotta be.
And then when we get this all plotted out, then we're gonna sell 10 sites in the back there, and then we're gonna have to mow the whole back before the front's full. It's just, it's a frustration I got, that, you know, we're gonna spread out our cemetery now, so we got more maintenance, we gotta take care of more, we gotta do whatever.
Well, how many plots do we have open right now?
Probably 20%.
Well, we must know how many plots are available.
We've
we
already
know?
done this a couple times, it's a little.
Well, I know, but we should be able to have a number. I mean, is there 10? Is there 20? Is there 50? I guess it'd be nice to know, because
We
there
had
would
to
be no
hire a
rush to get the roads in.
mow the cemetery last year. I'm sure we're doing it again this year. Now we're gonna go expand that cemetery and double the size of it, so now we're gonna have to have a full-time person to mow it, right?
Yeah, probably, but
it's just-
we
it's
haven't
what
found
happens.
anyone to mow yet, have we, TJ?
Yeah, it's just what happens, and
Well, I think we should have a handle on how many plots we have open. Do we have 20? Do we have 50? I mean,
do you wanna table this till next time and ask Shar to get that for us? So we know, but we did already go through this whole thing. I remember it. I was opposed to it at the first time, but they passed it.
I move we table this.
I'll second.
And what information would you like me to bring?
What the capacity, where are we at in the cemetery? Go back and redo it just like we did last time.
What's the demand?
you must know what lots are open or plots are open.
I don't
Or not.
count them every day.
Well, I know.
I'm selling them weekly.
There's also a capacity of each, because you have rules over the course of different years. So if you have a casket, you can have, cremation, or if you don't have a casket, you can have 6 cremations. So there's a capacity.
It depends when you bought them, though, right?
It depends on when you bought them, and the rules change, but it's a very complicated matrix that you're asking for, unless you're just saying how many are empty.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what I'm saying, that you should be able to provide that, but.
Well, you would think so.
To what extent the capacity is used might be a little more.
No, I want to know how
Bob,
many
my
plots
frustration-
are available that people will have to die to use.
To maintain it, and next month, we're gonna be looking at sprinklering it so that it looks better, which I totally support. But, that's all.
Might be your future place.
It probably will be, if I make it that far.
Thanks for allowing it.
Just give us the number that are available for sale,
Yeah.
Sure.
and
And just
we're
so you
done.
know, there's a map in the conference room of the entire cemetery. Anything in white is available to be purchased, and you can look at that anytime you want.
Well,
You can.
God,
just bring us back the number. Just bring us the number. That's all we ask. The available plots available.
Okay. Patrick, are you off the hook, or are you gonna stay up there for a while?
I'm gonna be up here for a while, I think.
Good. Glad to have you.
All right, so then we're probably not gonna, let's see. Number D, do you wanna talk about, Phil?
It's an update on the projects.
All right.
I think there's only one action item. So we, at the Public Works Committee meeting, we discussed a couple of items that we felt like needed to be addressed. We have the Baller property, which is located on CASA 66, the sanitary sewer extension. That project, when we did the Baller property, we surveyed that property in 2018.
But you didn't survey it, Winseth surveyed it.
No, we surveyed it in 2000. We
2018?
surveyed the 66 corridor in 2018.
Okay.
For this project, the sanitary sewer extension. Between 2018 and 2022, when we built, Baller built, and then did a bunch of landscaping, changed the way the grade was coming to the trail. So when we got the construction done, he has a steep edge to his driveway that he can't mow. We thought about using the contractor last fall to do this work, but then ran out of time. We talked to the property owner about this particular property, and they would like to take on the work themselves and be paid by the city to do that work. It would be about half of what the contractor gave us a quote on, and we also feel like by turning it over to the property owner, we assure ourselves that they will be pleased with the work they do.
And that's $3,600.
Yeah, $35.73.
I will agree to pay half of that. And you can tell Jamie I said that. So that'll be a motion to agree to pay half of what he's putting down there.
So you want to pay half of $35.73?
Yeah.
And if he
And
says
he can
no,
pay
do you
half.
want us to go back to Casper
Then
and
he
have
could-
them pay $7,000?
No, then I want you to come back here.
Okay.
It's all right.
But
Just do it.
the bid from Casper is 7,000. He's willing to
what?
do it for 35.
He's got to just cut a little dirt off the side of his driveway. You know, I mean, these dollars are real dollars. And people play with them like they're play money.
But why would?
That's my motion. Does anybody want to second it?
That the property owner pay half?
Yeah, we'll split it with them. $1,800 a piece or whatever, yeah, $1,800
With
bucks.
the option that he can say no, and then we'll renegotiate.
Yeah, then come back to the next meeting and we'll take another look at it.
I'll second that.
All right, any other discussion on it? All in favor? Aye?
Aye.
Nay.
I guess.
Aye.
What are you gonna do?
Yeah.
Well, it's already passed.
Mark did an aye over.
Opposed?
Yeah.
A very reluctant aye, I might say.
I oppose.
Motion carries 3-2. So just throw
It's
that back
crazy.
at him.
It's crazy over $1,800 to spend the time that it's going to cost us for Phil to go back and negotiate. We're going to spend the $1,800 right here.
It won't be
So-
much of a negotiation.
Stop and,
Yeah, it's not,
stop and think about that.
Okay, I'll go back and tell him that the
tell him
city-
I said that, because I'll see him.
Okay.
But I'm thinking he's paying half already. If Casper gave a quote of $7,000 and he comes along with 3,500,
Yeah.
I'm
Part-
saying
part-
he already gave
Part of
his
our
half.
rationale, and you already made a motion on it, but part of our rationale was, this was one less thing that we'd be asking Casper to do, which wouldn't extend any time they had on here on this project, asking for any additional time. And we have a little experience with this property owner, and he's particular about what happens on his yard. So.
And that's
it
what he
seemed
does
like,
for a business.
seemed
I mean,
like
he'll do
a
it.
nice
I'll talk
way.
to him.
It's grading and sprinkler work. But
Is the sprinkler in the right of way?
it's on his property,
Okay, it's not in the right of way.
right?
Okay.
All right. Sprinkler system repair, we have two properties that have sprinklers that were within the property easement that we negotiated with property owners to get their sanitary sewer. We thought about having Casper do this work last fall. Again, they're not sprinkler people. They didn't get it done. Again, to relieve them from having to do that and us pay maybe a premium as well as a contractual delay, we thought about working with the property owners and saying, why don't you get a quote for your property, the person that does your sprinkler work already, get us a quote, we'll bring it back to the council, and then we can have things done again outside of the contract, probably less costly and not incurring any delay costs. That's the recommendation that we'd like to go forward with.
So you don't have a quote now?
No, we would get quotes, but the idea is kind of like we were talking before, I work with the property owners for ease of pain, but
Okay, so, but Phil, in your mind, what is it gonna cost to repair the sprinkler?
I don't know, I'm gonna ask
A
the
few
property
$100
owners to
bucks or
ask their
something?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
sprinkler head,
I
put it
mean,
down.
Yeah, so just do that.
I'll make a motion that we get quotes from the property owner to repair have their sprinkler system persons repair their sprinklers.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, the only clarification is we don't wanna tell them just to do it. I can't believe.
We're getting quotes.
No, we're getting
Advantage of
quotes.
it.
We're getting
Yeah, getting
quotes.
quotes. Okay.
We're getting quotes.
Good.
That's what it says.
Okay, that's a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Aye. Opposed, motion carries.
Final item was that in the fall of last year, you directed us to address the drainage issues on Rushmore and at the Pizzo driveway. The motion was made and said, city engineer work with Pizzos to resolve the issues at the city's expense. Motion carried, all ayes. We put together two proposals in October for the property owner to look at. One was to put in a drain system. The other one was to basically remove part of their driveway, all of their driveway, and drain the water to a catch basin. We had Anderson Brothers give us a quote. The Pizzos supported the driveway option as the best result. That quote is for $6,415. We're recommending, before the city goes forward with that we get a signed agreement from the Pizzos for temporary construction easement from the city's contractor to do the work, hold the city and their contractors harmless, and states their acceptance of the work as final prior to proceeding with the work.
Okay. But were you authorized to do that last fall, or were you authorized just to go and get prices and take care of it, I think is what the motion was?
The motion was made by Dave Nevin and seconded by John Andrews to direct the city engineer to work with the Pizzos to resolve the issues at the city's expense.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now you're just coming back to explain what that is.
I'll
Yes, because it's
make a
completely
motion
vague.
that,
And that we'd like to get an agreement in place before we do
Yeah,
the work.
absolutely. Charlie, you gonna agree to that?
Oh, by the way, we
Yeah.
did send out agreement forms to Pizzo and to the Ballers in preparation for if the city wanted to go forward, we could make this happen sooner than later.
Okay.
I'll make a motion that we contract with Anderson Brothers pending a signed agreement with, I want to say it right, Pesto? Pesto. Agreeing to this and holding us harmless after it's done.
Second?
I'll second that.
Okay, a little discussion on it. Who was the job soup from Anderson Brothers? Who did that, Charlie? Which one of the guys?
Which part are you talking about?
Your driveway.
Washington.
Oh, yeah.
George Washington was the.
And they don't
That's not the
claim.
individual now.
Okay,
a
but I
different
mean,
individual.
don't you think it's kind of odd what they did?
Yeah,
Stuck it right on top of there and created that dam?
yes, and I've made that point to him.
And nothing came of it? You didn't get any satisfaction from it?
No.
And Washington's gone now? Not there anymore?
Apparently, I'm working with a different guy. It's not George Washington. That's his name.
All right, well, I might inquire a little bit about that, because that's kind of crazy. But unless they told you they were gonna do it that way, because it saved you some money or something, but I can't believe that Anderson would do that.
I had a conversation with our contract person, Scott Hendrickson, and said I felt that they were partially at fault for laying it on top without recognizing it. Didn't fit in with their land, but this is the price.
Huh? What'd you say? What'd you say?
Finish your statement, though.
I did.
He said that Anderson said they were partially at fault.
I told them I thought they were partially
Yeah.
responsible for holding back.
They
the
should have
water.
known better, so.
That's what I said, and they didn't obviously agree.
Okay, so we got a motion to fix your deal and a second. Any other discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Okay, that's all I got.
Opposed? Go fix his deal. Who's next?
Pat is next.
All right, I got a little update on the new truck we ordered. It's supposed to come in here hopefully next month, but the prices have definitely went up on the truck.
I'll see.
New total is $118,917.26. So it's went up $21,204.69.
So Patrick, when you came to and we approved buying that truck for 118, I believe, or whatever we said, 97,000.
97,700,
Did you
yeah.
have a quote for it? Did you have an estimate for it?
Crysteel's prices just keep going up, and they only
But so
hold
we
their
didn't lock
prices.
in a commitment and order the truck or anything?
Now, when, they couldn't because they had no delivery date. The truck wasn't even been assigned to be made. We didn't even know when it was gonna get made. It's a confusing thing to order a truck.
Well, I can't see where we should be spending another 21,000 when we,
Except we have to.
We don't have a choice. That's the trouble.
well, I think we should have had a quote. I thought we had a quote.
We did, but it's confusing how it works. I was confused about it.
Well, I
But-
still am confused about it.
Apparently, when you order it, there's no lock price. The county, I think, they ordered a new plow truck and it jumped almost
Is this
$200,000.
through the state pool too? I mean,
Yes.
is this?
Yep. They're just,
Tim is shaking his head yes.
yeah, it is. It really is. And there's just no locking it in. They give you so many days and that's it, like maybe 30 days and that's
So
it.
now we're gonna lock it in at this supposed price and we're not gonna get delivery till next spring, after this winter season has gone by.
No, the truck will be here in May, is what they're saying. May or June.
Are you sure this price is locked in?
That's locked in for right now, yes.
So when we told you to go ahead last time, and you called, did you call them the next day after the council
I did.
meeting?
It got ordered. I got approval, it was ordered, but this is the way the new system works apparently. And I was talking to Chrysteel. If you order anything now or get prices, he was telling me to add a third on before I brought it up to you guys. And then I might be close to what the price will be when we finally get it.
What the heck
It's just nuts. It
Set
really
of
is.
tires is looking better and better all the time, I'll tell you.
Like I said, it's nuts. That's why I wanted to bring it up to you guys so you're aware of what's going on with that
So
truck.
this is a 2023 pickup you're getting. What's the years of the other two trucks?
Plow trucks were 20.
The big trucks.
21 and an 18, 17 or an 18.
God, so, I mean, we got a brand-new fleet.
Like I say, I know it's expensive, but I want to bring that up to you because what I'd really like to do with the new truck, but it's going to take a year to get it, is to add a wing onto it. I never knew they made a wing for a 2-ton truck. And they make a nice hydraulic wing that goes on there. Instead of looking for another dump truck, like I talked to you guys before about, this we could add onto it and we could use it in the fleet for every time it snows, except for obviously the real heavy snows. Then we'd be abusing the truck, but otherwise it'd be a perfect fit.
But that's not available, you said.
The wing?
Yeah.
It's unavailable for a year, but he quoted me a price of
$20,000.
What's the price? I want a firm quote that the price is not going up. I can't believe
You'll
that.
never get one from him.
Well, let's buy
we're gonna
somewhere
take-
else. Let's-
Shop elsewhere?
Is there a state bid?
It's state bid. This is all state bid.
And the state goes along with that?
Why don't we wait for a year?
Why don't we wait?
Why don't we wait for a year until the recession hits hard and then we can buy a
We
little
know
more?
we can't lock it in anyway.
You know, if it's going to take you a year, we might as well do it at budget time when we're looking at all the
But then
stuff.
it'll be a year from that point for the wing. That's why I want.
But you would get it
approval for
before the winter.
No, if we decide.
No.
Because somebody else will.
We're talking about a wing for the plow truck is gonna take 1 year. If you give me approval now, it's not even in the budget. I can at least get it ordered, so in a year from now, it'll show up.
Well, Pat.
But we
if the
don't
price
need it
goes-
in May.
If the price goes up, astronomically in this next year, can we just cancel the order?
I think you can cancel it,
Well, let's
yes.
make sure we can cancel it.
Yes. But,
Off-state bid, you can. You can cancel off-state bid.
yeah, we could, it is, I agree with you. It's very much insane, but it's just the way things are going.
So
It ain't
Pat,
right.
Yeah, so what did you guys decide to approve it or cancel it?
No.
Oh, no, I make a motion, we approve the extended bid. I mean, we've been waiting, how long now to get one? If we say cancel it, how long are we going to wait then? And how much more is it going to cost?
Well, if we wait a little while longer, it might be free.
It's only money. I'll let you guys figure it out, but figure it out.
If I
It's
thought
9
that,
o'clock.
I'd say cancel.
Somebody make a motion.
I make a motion that we approve the addition, added cost and continue to purchase the pickup or truck.
Truck, yep.
Who's going to second it? Nobody?
I mean, it's something we absolutely need. I mean,
All right, motion dies, and without a second, somebody else make another motion. Like, we cancel the order or something.
Is it that needed? Can it wait till budget time? I know we've been going after it.
Well, if you cancel and postpone, then it'll be another year from that point on. And then the price, like Aaron just said, the price is gonna go up.
Well, I think if we wait a little while longer, stuff is gonna go belly up here, but.
So Pat, I have a question for you on this. With this truck, the truck that you're using is a smaller truck, and you have to come back with another vehicle to do the sanding and then pushing the snow off to the side
Yep.
anyways. So by doing this, you're cutting down the time.
We're cutting the time in a third, essentially, when we're out there doing the route.
So you only have to
Cut in
go
a third.
down at
It'll be a
once.
third truck in the fleet.
Instead of coming back in with another truck to
And
finish
if
the
you have
job.
one truck go down, then you at least
Still have
two.
two, yep. And and you have the concerns over the 1 ton that we have now. That's why you guys were gonna replace the truck to begin with.
I'll second the motion.
What is the motion?
His motion?
Yeah.
Oh, my motion. Oh,
So his motion was to approve it. Motion and a second. God, it's just funny how they.
I just don't get how that can happen, but it's new world order.
Okay, all in favor?
aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Carries at
I'm
least three.
opposed.
You're opposed?
Yeah.
I'm confused, but it carried.
I don't know how the
Three.
state can
So Pat,
allow
another
that.
question for you.
Yes, sir.
If you order the plow, the wing now, you need to order it now to get it for
A year from now, yep.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
That'd be next May. So
Yes.
why can't we just wait till August and then it'll come in August? The wing, you're talking about the wing,
If we
right?
order it in August, it's a year from next August before we get it.
Oh, from the,
From the day we order.
it's not, it's not August of the next year, it's the following year?
Yeah, everything's a year off on that.
But it's possible that would change. I mean, supply.
I would expect it to go up by
Possibility,
a
but-
third. I'll say
I don't mean
that
the
straight up.
price, I mean the availability.
Oh, availability.
And we have one more thing. We're all familiar with Ace Hardware.
Just for
The
clarification.
driveway, the road's going, the
Oh,
driveway's
Pat,
going in and
Pat.
out.
Oh,
What?
I
Back
don't
up a
think we,
second.
Are we voting on the wing?
You need to let them decide if they want to get the wing ordered now.
Oh,
So you have.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
What's the grand total of both things again?
Today it's 18,260, but state.
I know.
expect it to be 25.
Wing. And that's for a 2-ton truck.
But keep in mind, we can cancel it if we need to, and we're
We
not.
can cancel it.
We can, yes. And,
Just
and
afraid that it's gonna be hard on that truck.
there's no money up front. Am I correct?
Right. No money up front.
So at least we would have
I
one
move that
on
you
order.
order it, contingent upon the fact that we can cancel it if it should go up, and
Okay.
astronomically or.
And I'll second her motion.
Okay, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
All right. The last one, like I say, we're all aware of the driveways going into Ace Hardware. We got a bid from Anderson Brothers. We just got it today, so you guys don't have it in your packet. The total to replace the blacktop, regrade it, and the curbs that need to be redone, the total is $16,475. Ace Hardware's part of that bid was $7,138, so our share is $9,337, which is our part of the road in front there.
So where does our road stop? At the radius of their driveway approach, or do we go?
The simplest way is, when you pull in and you're aiming towards the road, that curb, that's kind of our property line is right there. So they're kind of using our right of way a little bit
So it's
there.
gonna cost us $11,000 and them $7 to fix the roads?
Costs us $93.37 and them $71.38, cure all the problems there. And Anderson can get on it this week because they're doing
I bet they
downtown
can.
project.
I bet they can.
Well, it worked because they were in town doing everything right now. Otherwise, it'd be until
No, we don't
September,
have it in.
The two
October.
approaches to Ace, the two,
Yep,
God, that's $18,000.
16.4.
Pat, can't you get your hot mix machine fired up and go dump some blacktop in there?
We could patch the holes, but they're gonna bust out again, but, you know, they're gonna do it so the water runs through and everything, get it all so it's right. So we should never have to look at it again, well,
That
as long as us
driveway
are around here.
Could eat a child.
Go ahead, Jackson. Push that one down forward.
I'll make a motion that we, what was the total? Because we don't have it in our binder.
16,475, but it also is contingent on Ace Hardware, because he hasn't seen this
So
bid yet.
he
I got
hasn't
it so
agreed?
late today, Dan hasn't seen it neither. So it's contingent on him going with it and you guys going with it.
Okay.
Okay, I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Okay.
Because we're gonna have to fix our roads
Only our
anyways.
portion of
That's
that.
only ours.
Not the whole thing.
Right,
gonna
our
have to
portion
fix
is
our portion.
9,337.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Patrick.
What about the wells?
The what?
Oh, I forgot all about that. Yes.
Oh,
Now what?
We have the two wells on the one on the Nest property, and then there's one where the parks, where they're putting the new park in.
Okay.
And I'd like to have both them capped, sealed off, and be done with
How
them.
much are they charging for them now?
What was it, $1,700 roughly? But I was also told the county pays for half. And I gotta find out.
Should be $200 or something for that, though.
Well, they gotta pull the pump out, and then they pump it down in. There's a deal to it, but you're right, it's expensive.
Now, is that 1,700 apiece? or
No, both of them
For
together.
both, okay.
Right. But I was told
And
that
there's
the county
Sandpoint-
pays for half of it. I gotta investigate that a little more.
Are we sure?
No.
When I pull a sand point out of a house to drill a new well, it's $250. Paperwork to the state.
No.
Now it's $1,700 if it goes through the city.
So do we have to have someone that's certified to cap the well?
Yeah, they seal
Is
it,
that
because they have to have the rig to pump it down in the bottom, seal it with concrete all the way up.
Yeah, mine was about $200 when they did my shallow well.
Yeah, well, that's all these are, sand points.
No, these are drilled wells.
Drilled?
They're
Oh, okay.
two
That's a little
drilled
different.
wells.
But still. But I think it would be a good idea,
Well, the one's gonna be right in TJ's parking lot, the one well is.
That's Ness's.
can't use it, okay.
Can
I-
you
I
use it
move-
for anything? Sprinkling, nothing?
I move we cap both wells and prevent any problems.
should we make it contingent upon the county paying half?
They already are.
No.
We don't know for sure.
Oh, I thought they were.
I wouldn't.
No, I
even
don't
go
know
there.
for sure if the county's paying half, but I will,
Could have sworn he said they were paying.
but I will check on that and make sure that,
Yeah, but either way, it's a liability issue.
Just go wrap
to
a
the
chain
city.
around it and pull it out of the ground.
Not a bad idea.
Did I say that? Oh, okay. So you get a
Second.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed, cap the wells.
all righty, thank you.
Thank you, Patrick. Sure.
Tom Swenson, 35533 Sandpoint Drive, and Chairman of the Public Works Commission. Last Monday, we had a meeting. It went over an hour. We discussed all this stuff you guys just went over again. Now, one of our recommendations was given to the council, and you just rehashed everything, and you don't even know what the Public Works Commission is recommending on these things.
Why wasn't it in here?
I don't know, and I don't mean to, I know Shara is busy, and I don't expect the minutes of the meeting to be done right away, but at least the specific motions that pertain to things should be included with each item. You know, we talked about, you know, the cemetery, that's been on the agenda for Public Works for 4 or 5 years. We've been listening to Shar talk about, you know, we need to do something. We've budgeted money and it gets put off. The money got put in a reserve account. There's at least 16,000. We had the proposal from Bolton and Menk a couple years ago. I asked that it be brought back because nothing was done with it. Phil updated that.
You're right, there isn't one recommendation on here.
You guys rehashed everything. You know, we talked about the Rushmore Boulevard thing. There was a very specific motion made on going with which option, and then conditions on there for, you know, executed easement and a sign off by the property owner that this is, they're satisfied forever and hold harmless to the city and the contractor. Every one of these things, you know, even the purchase of the wing, you know, I questioned the same thing you did. You know, is it gonna tear the transmission out of the truck? And, you know, I thought it was a 1 ton and he said it was a 2 ton. We talked about all the equipment, you know, and the backup, just like
I don't know what to say, Tom. I don't know.
I mean, it's just sort of, you know, disheartening that the commission spends all this time hashing it, and then the recommendations don't get included, because some of these things you guys haggled over, you know, it would have been helpful to have the recommendation of the commission in your packet, so you know what the commissions are thinking.
Attends the Public Works.
Well, I think Dave is the liaison, but you weren't at the last meeting. Marcia was at the last meeting.
Didn't we follow your recommendations?
No.
No.
But those.
I mean, you canceled basically canceled the cemetery thing. We
But I think we want to know, we want to know the availability. I think it's an okay thing.
That's a legitimate question, but this has been on the agenda for 5 years.
Okay, I'm thinking that maybe we shouldn't have it on the council agenda till the minutes are done and then include it the following month.
Then you're
on
going
the
to be 2
agenda.
months behind.
Okay, then the other alternative is to have the Public Works Chairman be put on the agenda first thing, and you can go over the recommendations.
You know, part of a liaison is to help, is to be up here and say, this is what we talked about. This is why we think we should do this, and help with it. I apologize for not having the minutes done.
I'm not trying to.
I mean, and usually I do, and sometimes you guys don't even read the packet ahead of time, so it doesn't matter anyway.
I do. Tom, I understand your frustration, and, you know, I agree. I mean, but those of us who weren't there, we have no idea what the recommendations were. We don't get them.
And I mean, it would just help if, not the whole minutes, but if we make a specific motion dealing with an item, if
That's
that
on the
motion
agenda,
could at least be given to the packet, so. And then, I don't know where the GIS, you know, we had a demonstration on a GIS system, and that was something Pat sort of started it, where, you know, he wants to GIS and locate all the manholes and sewer things. Well, then it went, we actually put that off a month for another Public Works meeting so that Peter could be there and TJ, although TJ didn't make it, but because there were, once you get the GIS system in there, there's more layers you can put on there. TJ could put on the trails. We talked about, you know, if they're going to survey the cemetery, you know, you could have that plotted on the GIS system. You'd have all of Pat's stuff, and there's some, land use things that could also be different layers on this GIS system. And Phil gave us a really good demonstration on that using the city of Crosby and the city of Aiken and the different layers that they utilize, but it's not on the agenda, so I don't know where that one went.
That
but-
fell through the cracks.
Okay.
I mean, I was waiting until Friday morning for all this stuff to come in for Public Works agenda, and the council likes to have their packets Thursday. I didn't get the information till Friday.
Okay, well,
But thank
Well,
you
we
for
have two alternatives.
hearing it, because I do appreciate our commissions. I do appreciate all of you guys a lot.
yeah.
Why-
no,
why
it's
do
it's
we-
I mean,
unfortunate.
we had pretty much the same discussions you guys had
Yeah.
before we formulated a motion on what to recommend. And, even the cemetery, we talked about, do you just do the 11,000 one, or do you do the 11 and the 5? And then there was even
And you don't have anything done, I mean, you
Yep.
got, and you go down to the cemetery now, you got a couple grass roads that cut it in half and it's done. And now we're gonna have $20,000 spent, we're not gonna have anything done. Then we're gonna have to buy a mower and we're gonna have to, look at what we have to do to see it through. We're gonna have $100,000 into that thing.
Well, our failure to.
But we've also been listening to Shar for the last 4 or 5 years that we are running out of, and I understand, yeah, she can add up the white blanks and give that to you. But that, I was here when we bought those properties, and we bought them specifically because we knew eventually we're gonna run out of cemetery plots, and those 2 lots came up for sale, and we grabbed them just because we didn't want to have
And
to
good
start a
thinking.
new cemetery in another location.
Right.
And
Question is whether we're ready to start the next one, and then we gotta maintain it, because we gotta keep them looking nice.
Yeah.
So, if now's the time, then we do it.
Yeah, and we don't necessarily, just because we make a recommendation, the final decision is always yours. If you're not ready to do it, so be it. I guess the reason I'm standing up here is because we made recommendations and, you
Frustrating.
guys never,
Well, our failure to acknowledge your recommendations is not out of lack of respect for the work you do, but it's just a lack of information. We didn't know, so.
and I
So-
don't mean to, I know how busy you are, but my only thought is, if we could at least get the motions.
So you don't want to give a report at the beginning of Public Works? Report
Well, I
from
don't know
the
if I
chairman?
need to. If we make a motion on something and the commission makes a motion and it's approved to recommend, any one of these things, I can, if I'm at the meeting and you have questions, I'll be happy to stand up and address it. I don't know if I need to necessarily have a place on the agenda every
You
time.
sure could have, during our discussion, you could have set up, and say, can I?
Well,
At any
I
rate,
should be doing too if I was there, but.
we'll work on it.
So then why don't you say what the commission said? The commission said they recommended this, and that should come to the council, and then there it is.
But the packet is different than the motions that are made at the meeting.
But it would be helpful.
But he's at the meeting, so he's in his packet, he's the one that should say when he does his report.
Yeah.
We could
That would be
have
helpful.
eliminated a half-hour discussion tonight.
Yeah.
Patrick just says, the commission met, the commission recommends this.
But I'll put it like, for TJ, when he has something, he'll say, the commission approved a motion to blah, 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 blah. And then where their commission is coming from, so.
Thank you.
Thanks, Tom.
Ask Tom to ask one more question. The GIS was our actual motion recommendation, that die, or
Shar said it just fell through the cracks. I'm assuming it'll be on next month's agenda.
Okay. Okay.
Who's up?
Peter.
Park Center. Peter, yeah. McGraths can finally have their moment.
All right. Good evening, Mayor, council members. If we turn to packet item F3A, and within that is a request for commercial final plat approval. So before you is the McGrath Holdings final plat to subdivide a parcel involving approximately 10.74 acres into 10 lots and an outlot. The preliminary plat was heard by the Planning Commission on April 28th, and it was unanimously recommended to the City Council for approval. And the action we're looking at for tonight is an action and to approve the plat as presented to the Planning Commission on April 28th, 2023.
I make a motion, we approve the plat as one. It was a very easy one to work through and work with. I make a motion, we approve it.
I'll second that.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
All right, thank you. That concludes the P and Z agenda items.
Oh, do we have to address the?
Yeah, you got B, the park dedication. You might
Yeah,
want
I
to stay
believe,
seated for this.
If, right, I don't know if TJ, if you want to speak on this, or otherwise I can, whatever works. I mean, we'd need
No, let's just approve it.
a motion for a park recommendation fees or land in lieu of that.
I'll make a motion that we approve the park dedication fees.
We
I
accept it.
second.
Good?
Okay, we're
All
good
in
with that.
favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thanks, you guys.
Thank you. Thank you, Jeff. If you want to give me a call tomorrow morning, we'll get you set up with the rest of the paperwork, so.
Hi again.
Eric.
So, last month at the council meeting, the council approved TJ to put out for bid the side-by-side UTV. I made a comment at that it would be a good thing for the police department to have.
At the meeting you did? I don't
At the
recall
meeting,
that.
I made a comment, and you guys told me to use fire departments. I asked TJ if he would hold off so I could do some research about that, and if there was a definitive use for us to have that. Forgive me for going around.
It's a little odd, Eric, when the council makes a motion to sell it, and that was the condition of buying the new one, and that motion passes and we go away. And a month
And
later,
I-
we figure out that you decided that wasn't a good choice and changed it.
I didn't decide it was a good choice. I just wanted us to take a look at it a little further in, delve a little bit deeper into it. So I did. And if I did incorrectly, my job is to look at the best way to keep the city safe. And if I did incorrectly by doing that, I apologize. But if I go by the rules here currently, the Public Safety Committee unanimously decided, with Aaron and Marcia both abstaining, to move forward if we could do that. Now, the monetary thing, I'm not sure how that works out, if that was a plan to offset the cost or whatever. But that was also a donated item to the city, so.
TJ, was that part of the deal? You could get 18,000 for the old one, the new one was 32 or something, or whatever it was, 35?
Well, that was the initial plan when we first talked about it, yeah. And I guess you guys ultimately make the decision, and if Eric has some use of it and we get rid of it, and then we're kind of stuck in a limbo based on his recommendation from public safety, if they think they can use it, I guess that's ultimately your
I
guys'.
think the council made a motion on that. That kind of, we've already got two of them. Park and Rec's got one, the fire's got one. And we've got first responders on all of those. So-
Right,
So now
and-
we're gonna have a garage to park another one. That, I disagree with it.
Okay. What we discussed at the Public Safety Committee meeting today was that the use of that is not the same as the fire departments. The fire departments, we actually ended up having to arrest somebody using that vehicle. It's a one-seater. We had 3 people inside that thing to get them off a trail in the wintertime, or last year, I think it was. Other times when we're out during storms, during, public safeties or public works is going to be using theirs. Parks and Rec is going to be using theirs. We have other items like the parade, the Winterfest, where if we need to, we can get out on the lake with a tracked vehicle. So that is why I looked at it as something that could be used by the police department for other uses other than, and again, it's a third vehicle. So
I'm opposed to it. How do the rest of you feel about it?
I think there's a potential, because the fire department said that they could have uses for it. I could see where Public Works could put a blade on the front of it and blade out on these light snowfalls for the sidewalks and that type of stuff. And I don't know, if their groomer breaks down over in the wintertime, that used to be a groomer puller, so they could actually hook up and not have to rent a vehicle. I can see a lot of different uses for it. I'm not saying we should keep it, but I think we need to give them the benefit of the doubt to
How do you
look at
feel
what the
about it,
uses
Sandy?
are.
Well, where would it be kept? And was our approval of the new vehicle based on the idea that we were going to get some money back for the sale of?
It was.
yeah, the monetary part of it, I don't know what TJ had worked out. I'm not sure what that is. I looked at it like the same thing that one of our old squads that we could have gotten $13,000 for last year, or if not more, went to Pete in planning and zoning. This squad this year, which we could probably get $10,000 to $11,000 for, is going to go to TJ in Parks and Rec, so that they're not driving their own vehicles. So I looked at it the same way.
How do you feel about it, Sandy?
I don't know, we've just, there's been so much money thrown out tonight.
God, how do you feel about it?
Oh, I think it's just the precedent of that. We've voted on it, and now we're going backwards. You know, that's just tough. But it does seem like there might be a good use for it.
They could have a use for, we could buy out the
I
sports
know.
shop, you know?
I know.
Yeah.
Question for Eric. Now that you've thought about the use of that vehicle and how it benefit your department, are you going to be coming back and saying, you know, we could really use a vehicle, we should go buy a new one and put that in the budget?
A side-by-side for the police department has always been right here, and it was always looking at the monetary costs of that and trying to budget something like that. No, I mean, we're only going to miss it if we don't have it when we need it.
Here's the problem, if this would have been, you know, something that had been brought forward at the time when you already knew, and that would be, oh, okay, we'll just transfer this over, but now it just feels like.
And I missed that complete conversation. I mean, when I found out TJ had one that he was going to go down the road with, that's when it was, you know, the light came on with me. So any prior conversation about selling that, I didn't know.
Well, that's what I thought.
Well, I think when,
So that we could sell it.
I think when TJ brought it forward, buying the Kubota, that we asked what the resale value is, and we took that into consideration.
Yeah, for sure.
But I don't want to be short-sighted if it's something you could really use, and then down the line, we want to buy a new one, I mean.
Is it in your budget to buy it?
I think you said.
Sure, if Parks and Rec wants to give me $11,000 for the squad that we're going to give them. I mean,
Was that Was that approved already? The
We
squad
had
car going
discussed that
to?
last year, yes.
But it hasn't been approved.
As far as I know, we laid out a plan that the 2017 Silver Squad would go to
It is
Planning
a-
and Zoning last year, and that the 2017 White Squad would go to TJ.
It is
Parks and Rec
approved
this
that we
year.
don't want them to use their personal vehicles. You know, that's what happened.
I didn't
TJ
know
got
if it was
in that wreck.
approved already.
Well-
I know it was discussed.
We're trying to discourage them from using their personal vehicles.
It's,
I'm going to make a motion that we sell that thing, get rid of it. We'll just see where it goes. Is there a second on it? Motion dies.
It's hard.
You guys want to give it to Eric?
well, it's not
You
coming
want
to
to
me.
table
I
it
won't be
till
here.
next, and think about it? I just, we just keep getting more stuff and build more buildings and more garages, and I don't know, where's it going to stop? Oh, I'm sure you do, but, that garage space was probably intended for something else, and it's just more stuff.
I'll second that motion.
To put it up for sale?
Sure.
All right. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Aye.
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 All right, so what's the motion going to be then?
Figure out how
You wanna-
much. We gotta figure out how we're gonna do the transaction.
Transaction is
Or are we
pretty
just
simple.
gonna move it and just be done with it?
It just gets assigned to the police department with the fact in mind that Public Works, Park and Rec, and Fire Department are all going to have access to it to use it.
They already have their own.
Huh?
Don't they already have their own? The fire department has their own.
Fire
Public Works
Department
has their
a
own.
single seater.
Till next month.
They have a single
Put it
seater.
for a month.
And there may be, and I'm not saying there is, may be occasions, Chip said there was, but he's not here, so I'm not going to speak for him.
I don't really want to move forward to make a final decision. I'd like to table this so we can think about it.
Good.
That's
I'd
fine. I mean,
second that.
It's not gonna lose money
It's not going to
right
lose
now.
value.
No.
Okay.
I'll second that.
All right. All in favor to table?
Aye.
Motion is tabled till next month.
All right, thank you for considering.
Thanks, Eric. Public forum, action may or may not be taken on any issue raised. If council requires more information or time for consideration, the issue will be placed on the agenda. Speaker must state their name and address. Hello, Charlie.
Hello, Dave. Charles Patso, 12896 Rushmore Boulevard. Upon observation of the Public Works meeting last May, or on May 1st, and Phil going through his presentations of what responsibility the city is going to pay on work on our property. As they stated in Phil's report today, that the city will do the work at a cost of $64.15, and that we agreed to some of the easement and acceptance prior to proceeding any work. I now have the agreement in front of me, and I think it should be shown, and we disapprove of the language that is used. Whereas this agreement talks about this was a complaint. That is far from the truth. We have raised a concern for our flooding that the road has made. And we do not agree with the last statement, and it needs to be reworded. We feel that this claim and other damages claim related to last year's should be stricken.
What, do you got something that's coming at us?
No, I just need an extension to have this,
All right, I don't think you're going to get it, Charlie. We could stand the ground that you put your own driveway in and it was put in incorrectly. We're coming in here and saying, we will take that driveway, I'll put it down to grade where it should have been. not by our error, but by your contractor's error. So I would just recommend that you accept it and
We are not.
Take it as it
We are
is.
accepting it, we are not accepting it because we don't know if the work will do the job.
well, if it's going to get it down to original grade, and I think that's the intent, right? To get it down to where it was, because the road is higher, it still is going to allow the water that was on your ditch to cross and go down the drain. I can't imagine it's going to be wrong. You know, your driveway's got a 4-inch lip in it, that's what stops the water, and that's what backs up. That lip is going to be removed, it's going to go down to grade, and the water's going to pass.
I agree with that.
And I think the contractor will make sure that the swale is in there.
Yeah, I mean, it's the contractor's responsibility to.
But the contractor is not mentioned in the,
In this disclaimer that they had you sign or want you to sign?
yeah, the contractor's not put in this, whereas you talked about it in the original statement in Phil's report.
Has a contractor assured you that the work he does will correct the drainage problem?
Will the contractor on my driveway correct
Yeah,
it?
right.
No, the city is doing that.
So you want some oversight or something from the city to make sure that it's done properly?
Right, in a sense, yes. That's why it needs to be reworded and redone talk to our lawyer, the city lawyer.
Is he your lawyer too? Is he your lawyer too?
No, that's conflict of interest.
Charlie, our intent is to fix it for you.
I understand
And I
that.
think the way that they're going to go about doing it is going to fix it for you.
And we are saying we are not signing this agreement as you just saw.
Okay, so you got to change a little wordage on it or something?
And we got to renegotiate, and we're willing to do that.
Because we can't move forward because the motion was pending you signing that agreement.
Right, I understand that. And we also kind of believe that if we don't sign it and we move forward, we are responsible for the $3,800 of part of the 6415 or 6417.
And I hope you understand that if we get a 6-inch rainfall or something like that, you're going to have some issues over there. I mean, time is of the essence to get that thing fixed,
Right.
so.
So I just wanted to let you know. My wife is up there on Zoom, and she is too upset to be here.
Okay, well, it sounds to me like we've agreed to fix it for you, so,
Yes.
you know. So you're going to come back with some corrected verbiage, or what are you going to do?
We'll have to discuss it.
Okay. Okay. Huh? Oh, Jonathan, good.
Can I say
Wow.
something, please?
Sure.
This is Margaret.
Margaret, come on. Just a second, John.
Okay.
All right. What I want to say is that what we were under the impression of was that, yes, we are agreeing to have this right away, or we're giving you the easement to let you guys do the work. We know that this is probably going to work, but in your statement, you are asking us to say that we will never make any claims to the city ever again because of the road. That road could be there for 30 years, like it was last time. How would you, we are between a rock and a hard place. We have no recourse then, at all. So, can it be worded that we aren't going to do anything about the driveway? We understand that that's going to work. But if you tell us we don't have any recourse in the future of any kind,
Well, I'm
what
trying to
does
think
that do?
of, if your water problem, that's your issue, right? If the water problem's corrected, you
Not
shouldn't have one.
necessarily. You've looked at our property. You came over. You
I
know that
did.
the road is higher.
Well,
Do
I
we
did.
really
and-
know that we're not going to have a rain that goes down the other side of the house? I feel like we don't have any way of, if we sign this, we're screwed.
I really
We
don't
want to
know.
have it done.
We do
Yeah.
want to get it done.
Yeah, well, I would suggest put some little window wells in there, add a little dirt, berm around that house and let the water go to the lake. I think you should do that. I think you should have really done that 20 years ago, because, it was marginal before, but it's always worked. So I think you got to take a little ownership and do some of that stuff yourself too. We're going to try to correct what happened with the road.
Can we have the city attorney look at it, word it to see if it works for them? And if you need to protect the city, so you're not going to do anything that's not going to protect the city and hold us harmless.
I'm for sure not an attorney, but if you came up with another issue on something else, I'm sure you could bring it to us and we would address it. I think this is, well.
But that isn't what
It's
it looks
a
like.
separate issue, so I gotta believe, they couldn't they, Brad? Something else happened?
Well, it's the first I've heard of this, so we'll see what they have for suggested edits, and we'll go from there.
Yeah. We're trying to put it behind us. You guys want it behind you, so we just gotta put it behind you. I think we'll shake hands, and if something else happens, we'll probably take a look at it. But you may have to kick in too, and, we'll figure out how to do it. That's kind of an odd lot. You admit that. It's low, so.
But it's not, this is not going to get taken care of until that thing is signed. So what I'm saying is that the city attorney should take a look at it, and you can tell him what you want, and he's got to protect the city, so he'll say if you get what you want.
Yeah.
Not the consul. The consul's not going to
I would just agree to
do
it and get it done as quick as you can and
I know, but
do whatever.
sign the thing.
Thank you for hearing it.
You betcha, thanks.
Margaret?
Yeah, if we could have some different verbiage, I just feel like you're holding us hostage. by
I'm
that
sorry you feel
statement.
that way, Margaret.
Do you have a copy of that agreement?
Yes.
Okay.
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 All
All
right,
right.
since we didn't get into big discussion on the
Oh, we're a public
intersection
forum.
things, I decided I'll come up and just put something on the record here, and it's,
All right.
Cross Lakers have been at the helm of many studies and discussions since our organization in 2017. We've been working to improve the connectivity of the city, its aesthetic character, and create a safe, walkable city. With public input and guidance from the Minnesota Design Team, we've adopted 5 guiding principles which have been adopted into the Cross Lake City Comprehensive Plan. Those guiding principles are enhance the unique ecology of Cross Lake, create vibrant places that connect people to nature, establish better balance of facilities for driving, biking, boating, and walking, provide a diverse balance of housing, business, and park amenities, and celebrate and preserve Cross Lake's heritage. Just as a commentary, I put it as, engineers are problem solvers. Their job is to logically research and design the best for a specific set of parameters. The best design of any road is to move vehicular traffic in the most efficient manner. When an intersection of roads occurs, the best design is to move the greatest amount of traffic, whether that's vehicles or pedestrians, through that intersection in the least amount of time in the safest ways possible. Engineers do their best to take human error, opinions, and emotions out of any equation or design and deal with logic and facts, sometimes at the expense of aesthetics. This County Road 66 corridor is the main thoroughfare for motor vehicle, ATV, snowmobile, bicycle, and walking traffic in Cross Lake, serving our residents, visitors, and commercial business activity. So it's more than just another road to Cross Lake residents and business owners. At the October 10th City Council meeting, I presented some enhanced designs that could be implemented into the sidewalk portion of this project. The council made and passed motion 10R-05-22, having to do with what's considered parking along County Road 66. The project engineers have listened and implemented many of these ideas into the designs presented here tonight. They've logically designed a project that not only will improve safety and general operation of the intersection and the pedestrian project, but can also improve the character and appearance of this corridor and the city as a whole. We'd like to thank the project engineers for all their efforts to design the best for the city of Cross Lake, its residents and visitors, and we support the design presented here tonight and look forward to continuing and working together on specific details of the project. So, thank you.
To finish that up,
Thanks,
Jonathan, I want to thank you for all you've done for
Yeah,
it, because you have been right in front.
Thank you.
So, thank you much. All right, Bob, that's a pretty hard act to follow, but come on up.
I think it was well stated.
Okay.
Bob Perkins, 35333 County Road 37. I really want to thank all the people involved in this project. I mean, this has been going on for a number of years. And Jackson, I kind of call you out a little bit.
That's
I
okay.
mean, the comment that you made, you know, we've had 20 meetings.
That's
and we've
fine.
had city council folks show up at those meetings.
Yeah.
And I think it's important to get involved in the process because each of us probably interface with 20 to 50 people. So, you know, it's a core group of 15 people. You start doing the math. And by the way, 5,000 and 5,000 is 10,000. So the difference, never mind. I was just going to mess with you a little bit.
I know that. Thank
Yeah.
you.
So anyhow, I just wanted to say that, you know, we've reached out to 300 to 500 people. If you talk to Cindy, she gets calls hourly, daily. I mean, lots of interaction there.
Yeah.
Today, when we met as a group, it was basically a 10-0 vote in terms of the direction that we were going. Fairly unanimous. There were 2 that abstained for reasons to do so. But, you know, the bottom line is that it's gone much more than just this group, than the Cross Lakers. And everyone here in the town, we consider Cross Lakers. All you have to do is come to a meeting, a Monday meeting, give us your input, feedback. We want it. We need it. And our goal is to make Cross Lake grow responsibly and not just let it happen. Not just wake up and say, there's something new in town. How did that happen?
Yeah.
So that's really the goal. And I was also going to reinforce the guiding principles. They're in the comp plan. The first time the roundabout came up was 2015 that I'm aware of. And it's been discussed and over. The additions that have came out of this, the beautification, if you will, of the town, making it something that people, when they drive into town, they can say, wow. So it's not just a roundabout. It's not just a sidewalk. It's a project as a whole. And Tim, I don't know if he touched on it a little bit, but there's other money that can be found out there to support this project. And the water quality part, the most important asset we have in Cross Lake, that's the lake. And right now, if you don't do the project, the runoff project with this, you'll pay 1,500 to 2,000 times the price to do it later. So if you do it 2 years from now, 2,000% difference in the project. But thank you for your time.
Hey, Bob, for the record, thank you. And I am in touch with people that call me. I've had at least 10 today call me, so I'm not out of the loop. I am involved. So, and if we did it separately, I'm all for everything, for the sidewalks, for everything. I'm not sold on the roundabout yet because we have some other pieces that are in the works. I am representing what the people, they call me. Yes, I do have had some that have said we want the roundabout. But for you to say that I am not involved in this, I wouldn't be here if I wasn't involved.
I was just saying that we had 20 meetings and you weren't there. That's the part. So I don't know how involved you are or not. I just was saying that we had this opportunity to show up. So that was just a comment.
And I've been at several of them ever since I've gotten on the council. So thank you, but I'm just not for the roundabout, and I think it's okay to have a disagreement.
All right.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for your support today. Appreciate it.
And I think the meetings aren't over yet because there's still landscaping, right? What I understand,
Well,
right,
there's
Tim?
a lot of detail
Yeah.
to come on
That
the
are
meetings.
coming.
This was basically, here's a concept, and should the county vote it in, yes or no. And I don't want to speak for
And-
Tim on this, but once you get past that first concept, then you start getting into detailed designs, and that's where Phil's team comes in, and you start putting, you know, how many nuts and how many bolts, and you know, what type of
Sidewalks.
sidewalk, and is it grass, is it not, so.
The Lakers were for, the Cross Lakers were for what we approved, right? I had to leave for
You
public safety.
absolutely got that correct.
Okay. I thought, maybe, maybe I missed something.
Apparently not all of the Cross Lakers, but most.
Great.
All right, anybody else? That's my cheat sheet here. We're going to close public forum and go to Brad. I don't need it. We're almost done. Got this. Brad, you got a STR kind of report thing to do, huh? You and I went and met with the county?
Yep, the mayor and I met with the county staff, and they definitely agreed that the contents of the ordinance, we can't change, but once it gets to a penalty or a violation, we can have our own set of rules. And so this set of rules is basically it is what we had in the final draft of the Chippewa Miller version, you know? And I'll also say that the flow chart I attached shows you what they're going to do. But they also clarified that, I can't remember if it was the mayor or I that asked, doesn't matter. If one of you get a report on a particular property in Cross Lake and ask the county staff to have us step in earlier than this flow chart, they will. You just need to ask.
Okay. So we don't have to wait the 45 days, we can,
Well, first, they clarified the 45 days. It depends, you can see the floor chart. It depends what the issue is, but it's faster than that for a lot of issues. But no, we don't need to wait for a certain, we can wait a day and we can take
Yeah,
action.
if we have a problem, we can take care of it.
Yes.
okay.
That's what we need.
It says if the county refers it to us. So the county would have to refer it to us after we make the complaint.
Yeah, and they will.
But
If it's-
according to county staff, if we ask to get directly involved, they will refer it to us.
Brad, do we want to take a moment and fill in these fine portions of this? Do we want to talk about it?
Well, for sure. I mean, I put in what was in the last draft, but you guys did not approve that.
Right.
So, I mean, that doesn't mean, this is what was in the last draft, but you can change any of these numbers.
So I got one on B. For the first violation within a 12-month period, the sanction shall be a warning. I personally disagree with that. I think it should be a fine. And the reason for that is because we're going to have to get Brad to start taking action on it, and we don't want to take money out of the public coffers to pay for it. So the fine is going to hopefully cover. I thought you were going to put something in there that attorney fees will be charged. Were you going to, or you and I talked about that a little bit?
We talked about it.
I didn't see anything in here.
I don't think we can, to answer that question, I think we need to stick with, we definitely could add more fines in section B. You'll see fines in section F. But I don't think we should, I don't think it's allowed to fine and also charge lawyer fees, because the
Okay,
fine is meant
so-
to cover lawyer
Okay.
fees.
So then we should add the fines though, so we can get it.
You can add fines in B if you'd like.
Yep.
So I would put $1,000 in A, and I'm just gonna mention this, write it down, see if you agree. I'd put 3,000 in B, and I'd put 3,000 in C for the third violation. And I know that they lose their rights on the third violation, but they should be fined too because they're causing a nuisance of whatever kind. So we should fine it.
I agree.
I'm confused as to what violations you're going after. I mean, A, what is A?
If they get a call
The
and
first
it's a
violation,
problem.
like a noise?
It's for any in the very
Parking,
first section there, for
a
any
noise.
violation other than F and G. So F and G is basically they didn't get a license in the first place. So it would be, yes, they have too many occupants, for example. That they violate the noise, it's all pursuant to the county
Or they're
ordinance.
parking on the sidewalk, Shar, or their garbage is left unattended. And I think the council should look at garbage.
Just so, we have no garbage ordinance.
We should have one.
We need to make one if we
Yeah.
want to
No,
regulate
remember,
that.
what we're talking about in section B is only things that are in the county ordinance,
Right.
not the city ordinance. So this is, again, like we talked at the we also talked at the meeting, and the county doesn't care. To Shar's point, we can talk about where we place our garbage containers. We can talk about off-street parking. We can do whatever we want, it just wouldn't be related to short-term.
That's a citywide
It'd be a
ordinance.
citywide policy.
Right.
Section B is the county ordinance as we adopt it exactly. So right now, it's the 4 occupants per bedroom and blah, 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 or how they define noise, how they define parking. Those are the violations I'm referring to in
Yeah.
section B.
And we'll see how it goes, and maybe we'll want to take it over the 1st of January and improve. Maybe the
Fine.
county will work fine, you know. I hope that the county does work fine. Yeah. The other thing I would like to do is failure to license down there. I'd like to have a fine on that.
Could I
Well,
ask,
that's in there already.
Yeah, it's in there,
I
1,000.
got a question on the fines before we go too far down, Brad. Do you think the courts will accept that level of fines? I mean,
No, at some point, it could be deemed excessive, but that doesn't mean the fine structure is supposed to be, there's supposed to be some nexus, they call it, or relationship to what our costs to enforce the penalty, or the staff time involved in enforcing the ordinance.
okay, thank you.
So we could always lower them, you know, if we feel it's excessive. But I want to make sure we're covered. I don't want, you know, the general public to pay for this. That's my feeling. So failure to license, you know, you got $1,000. I think it should be 3,000, Brad.
Well,
They got a license.
Again, I don't,
Yeah.
that's a council, I got some numbers there. If you want to change the numbers, go ahead.
Because it's going to
I
cost
agree, yeah.
some money to go and enforce it, you know? So,
Well, it's not, I don't think it's a motion yet, but I think we should just have an overall motion to implement all of these changes.
If you want to say.
So 3,000, you're suggesting 3,000 for not having a license?
yeah.
Right off the bat?
Operating without a license.
And then how about for the second offense, third offense, et cetera?
Well, maybe 3, 3, and 3, you know?
Brad,
I don't wanna
it says
appear to be
first
too
offense in
aggressive.
12 months. That's pretty basic. But it says second violation within 12 months. We also talked at one point about that these were annual renewals. So is this start over every January 1st or whatever date we set?
Unless you have your own ordinance in place by then, and then that would trump this. But, because the plan, I think, is to have your own ordinance within that year, but yes. if you don't-
That's the idea,
If you
yeah.
don't create your own ordinance, it would start over at the calendar year.
So, but what I'm saying is they could have a violation in November and then have a violation in February. Those were within 12 months, but they're two different periods of time, you know what I'm saying? They're not, wouldn't be in the same.
I think the clock would reset when they relicense.
Yes.
Thank you. So it would go back to being the first offense again in February?
Yes.
Okay.
So can we just go through this thing and make a motion to change the fines in this thing?
If you wanna
and
pass
start?
tonight,
We
I
can
think-
change it anytime, you know, if we
Yep.
make a mistake, we can change
Yep.
it anytime. So I'm going to make a motion that we alter the penalties stated in section B to 1,000 for the first violation, 3,000 for the second, and 3,000 for the third. And then down in section F, if failure to license, the first violation is 3,000 and 3,000 thereafter.
I second that motion.
Is that clear enough?
Yeah, Shar took notes. Yeah, that's clear.
Okay. We got a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, that's something to start with, right?
Yep.
Can I do my motion?
I don't know, is there anything else, any new business, any old business?
I have something.
Okay.
Under old business, wondered if the letters went out on the lodging tax.
I have not received any addresses from Voila. So no, I have not received anything from them.
Oh, because I thought he said he had it electronically and would give it to you.
Right. I have
Did you
not
call
heard
him and
from
ask him for him? Maybe you should do that.
He can send them if he wants it done.
I think we should get it done.
He can send them if he wants it done.
Yeah, that's funny.
That's
that he
his,
did-
that's
funny
his
he
deal. They
didn't
make
follow
money
up
off
on
of it,
that.
that's them.
I know it, but it's our ordinance, and if we can't enforce an ordinance we have on the books, I don't know.
Huh.
I think we should send out the letters. We've already directed them to do that, and it should be done.
Email him
ask him if he's.
I will. I guess I'll contact them and say we need the addresses at the city office so they can send out the letter. Do you sell the water trucks or whatever?
What's that?
Did you sell the water truck
No.
or tanker?
Can't sell until we have the new one set up and ready to go. Otherwise, we're not gonna have one, and then what do we do?
Oh, I know, that's what I thought, that we usually do it for surplus, but after we
that
get
one-
something in operation, but.
I gotta have one, and the replacement needs to be here, then it'll be up for sale the next day.
Are we getting it in the next, I don't know, year?
You said 8 weeks.
8 weeks?
So-
Oh, okay, all right.
Good?
Lock them in a price?
What's that?
To lock them on a price for it?
Yeah, we paid half down, so it's locked in.
Okay.
Good? I make a
Jackson,
motion to
make that-
adjourn.
Second.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Let's get out of here.
And congratulations, Jake.